Look, I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, boo. See, I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it, that shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see you swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you, I'm tempted. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me, I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my playaways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and then I give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me.
Welcome. Yo, all right, we are live and it is later than usual thanks to our guest that we have here today, Ashtrey Gaming. Dog, what's up with you on the other side of the world? About to be summertime over there and we're about to get freezing over here. Brother.
Yep. Polar
How are you
opposites.
doing this evening?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, Ham. This is awesome. It's so just for everyone to understand, it's actually Tuesday evening here in Australia at 5:34 p.m. And I think it's around midnight, 12:30 for you. So it's a big difference in time. But
Huge.
yes, we are going into summer soon. If we ever see some sunlight, we're getting a ton of rain at the moment, but we'll get there. And then because we have a very hot summer, and you guys usually have cold summers, cold Christmas. So yeah, it's complete polar opposites, mate.
That's
But
wild.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Welcome Dragonheart Yobi in the chat, and I see the blue down there as well saying what up, and then calling, I'm guessing either me or you a fraud.
No, he's calling me a fraud.
Okay, that's fantastic. I mean, I love the disrespect right there. As Yobi would call me, he says I'm the beacon of destruction, so I welcome it gladly.
It's good to see Blue in the chat. Thanks for coming, man. We should see Boba and a few others hopefully pop in as well.
That'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. Yeah, hit the like button if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this type of stuff. I talk to all different types of people, whether it's PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC, developers, people that, test out these games and stuff like that. I had John Lemon from Digital Foundry on a few months back. So I just tend to rotate in. I'll probably have Jez coming on within the next like month or two, and then hopefully Alex from Digital Foundry as well. I wanted to get him on here because he has a lot different views than John, and I'd definitely like to hear what he has to say as well about his history and whatnot. But
Indeed.
let's go on ahead and get into it. So, brother Ashtray, I know you do a podcast that I've been on a few different times. Gamers Initiative with Red Dead with Red Dead Panda and Elite Guru Gaming, and then yourself. You guys have that show every Friday, kind of close to the same time that we have our show on this channel, and you guys do a podcast, just the three of you guys. You guys invite guests every once in a while. It's a really good time. You guys talk your stuff. Just go on ahead and let everybody know what that's all about and whatnot. Go on ahead and sell yourself.
Yeah, man. Well, the Gamers Initiative podcast features me as part of the panel. I know there's a little running inside joke with the Blue One and Boba that it's my show, but it's on Elite's channel. We get a bit of a kick out of that. But they started that. Red and Elite started that probably about a year and a half ago now. And they had like you said, they have a few guests on, and they decided they wanted to get me on as a guest. And it worked out really well because at the time it was about sort of 8:30 on a Saturday morning for me. So it was perfect to get up, have a coffee, have a little bit to eat, have a shower, and then I'm, ready to rock and roll. So that worked out well. And I guested a couple of times on that. And they said, hey, do you want to be a part of the panel? And I'm like, yeah, for sure, man. Like, it's a perfect time for me. It's a Saturday morning. No one's really doing anything at the moment. It's not getting in the way of any of the, the other families, things they're doing, karate and swimming and all sorts of crap. So it's not getting in the way of that. And it's just, worked out perfect. So I joined up, and it's been fun ever since. So I've been doing it for almost a year now, and I'm really enjoying it. And hopefully, maybe one day I might start my own podcast, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So you guys are a bunch of fun individuals to talk to. No matter what the subject is, it just kind of keeps rolling. You guys always dunk on Elite. And it is really funny to watch sometimes and listen to and whatnot. But tell me a little bit about your podcast, or not your podcast, but your channel and some of the stuff that you currently do on that channel. I've seen as of lately, not that long ago, you had like some Gotham Knight, like impressions and whatnot on there. Go on ahead and sell yourself on that as well.
Yeah, so look, I've had the channel for quite some time, as we usually do. And so we're checking out other people's podcasts and shows and different videos and things like that. And then I got to a point in time where I was, I'd always have Dealer Gaming, shout out to Dealer. He'd sort of say, hey, man, just do something, like jump on, make some videos, give it a shot. And I was like, you know what, I think I will, because there's several sort of layers to it. But for me, making videos, as I already sort of know how to edit and do all that kind of stuff. I did, you sort of used to do some wedding videos and stuff like that back in the day. So I'm sort of au fait with how all that kind of stuff works. So I didn't have to learn that from scratch. But it was more for confidence. I hate listening to my own voice. I hate hearing my own voice. It sounds different when I hear it back, right?
I feel you on that.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure most people are in the same kind of boat, but I've never liked it. And so I was like, you know what? I need to get over that. But at the same time, I need to learn to speak in front of people better than what I do. Because, for work, you got to do presentations in front of groups of people, and you've got to talk about products and things like that. And I'd get nervous. And I don't like that nervous feeling, that butterflies in your stomach feeling. Some people get off on that. I hate it. I absolutely dislike it. So I was like, you know what? I want to kind of control that. And the only way to do that is to get over that kind of, fear. So, I started making recordings and my first was a Halo Infinite video. And that for me, for my first video, that did 144 views, and I was stoked. I only had like, I think it was about, I want to say like 12 subs at the time. So for that ratio, that's pretty good. You know, I was happy
Right.
with that. And I was learning on how to talk into a microphone. I still am to this day, still learning how to talk into a microphone, because this is still like an interaction. So it's a little bit easier. I kind of forget the microphone's there, and I'm looking at the screen, and it's like I'm having a direct conversation with yourself. But when you're recording, it's just different. You're not actually
It's
speaking
awkward.
to someone. So it's just a weird concept that I've still got to sort of learn. But what I've noticed is if I sort of ask myself a question about what I want to talk about in my own head, and then I can answer it, and then I'll just keep talking. And that's how I kind of do it. That's my sort of method. And that kind of works for me. So I'm still got to improve on that. I tried the whole writing down the script and then reading it back, but man, that sounds horrible. It
Yeah. It
exactly
sounds kind
like
of
I'm reading
robotic,
it.
right?
Exactly. So
I've
I was
tried
like,
that
you
as
know
well,
what?
and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna write a couple words, and then I'm just gonna
Top
look
point.
down and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about this, and just like rattle off some thoughts on that. I need to get. I feel you, because I need to get better at how I cut things and how I put them in. But I also, when I'm doing like solo videos, so like a review or impression, or thoughts about like news or whatnot, I need to be more enthusiastic when I do it,
Yeah.
because I tend to be really monotone. Oh yeah, this game is really cool. You guys should come check this. I mean, who the fuck wants to check it out if you talking like that? And I'm sitting there watching it back like, I really posted that joint like a couple months ago. And I mean, I think that's just the thing about being a creator. You're your biggest critic at the same time
Uh,
as your maker.
100%. And I've actually been toying with this way because I sound sort of deadpan as well, flat, right? Again, I probably don't sound as flat now because we're having a conversation. It's just a different feeling. So here, I want you to try this next time you record. Because there's no one around, it doesn't matter. Smile when you do it. All of a sudden, as soon as you smile while you're saying whatever you want to say, it automatically sounds more upbeat. It really
Facts.
does. So just
And
do
I'm
that. Just
horrible at
smile.
smiling. I'm horrible at smiling. I love just to bleed.
Come on, maybe put something like, I don't know, put some comedian on in the background or something that you get a good chuckle out of.
Even when
To
you
get
watch
you
me
going.
on bullshitting, I'm just like this half the time. I just don't know what else to do. Like, what do I do with my face? But anyways, shout out to Cult Classic Cage up in the chat, and we got Triple X 2.0 site. But anyways, we're gonna ignore that. I'm putting that user in timeout. But anyways, but what up, the Cult Classic Cage? She says, sounds like a good time. I need to tune in talking about your channel. She also goes to say that I'm still learning as well. I'm still learning as well, bro. Ashtrey Gaming, when is the ideal time for you? Or when is the ideal time when you are gaming to light one up? LOL, after you beat an insane boss or after getting beat up hours by a boss or something else?
Holy crap. That's a long ass question.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. Well, I don't smoke. So, but I do like alcohol. So maybe maybe
So
I
then a
could do
beer
that.
or something,
Yeah, right?
or a shot. Like, and see, I feel like it's gonna be after he's been getting his ass kicked for a while. I'm
Well,
gonna go on
actually,
that
it's probably
guess.
even before that. It gets worse when I get my ass kicked. Yeah,
He's
for
like,
sure.
I need another drink now.
Another one. So
I tell you what, Cult Classic Cage, to answer your question for that, for me, it is literally before, or actually, really both times are the best for me, because like usually I like to before, But if I'm getting throttled and it's been a minute since like the last time I've had a drink or a smoke or whatever, then yeah, I'll go back to it and just get my confidence back up real quick and just give it a shot one more time. I always have this whole gift, and that's probably why I'm always up way too damn late because I'm just like, one more time, one more time. And I don't know how many times I said one more time when I was playing God of War. And same, and now it's happening with Vampire Survivors. And I was sitting back, watching everybody talk about this game, hype it up, and I was like, that's cool. The game doesn't look bad. It looks kind of fun, but it doesn't look like a game that would hold my attention that long. And then I turned it on, and I haven't really stopped playing it since. Like I've bounced to Persona and played a few hours of that, but I'm at this specific fight in Persona, and if anybody knows that game at all, or has played that game at all, I'm at the point where this battle that I'm doing takes at least 20 to 25 minutes. And there's a countdown on it, and it's a long battle. It's agonizing, and it makes me just want to go play Vampire Survivors because I'm just like, I know if I die in that, I'll just start over and start wrecking house in like 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Have you played any of that?
I've played some of Vampire Survivor. Yeah, probably about half an hour of it, and it's just a good game to sort of jump in and out of, and you don't really have to keep track of what you're doing, unlike other games where you've got to know exactly what you were doing and where you were and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's good to jump in and out of. Good if you're in a party chat where you don't have to pay too much attention.
Exactly.
I'll pick it up and down, put it down as I go, but I'm not as obsessed with it like you are. I
I'm having a problem.
Fortnite a lot. I got a problem with Fortnite, man. It pisses me off a lot, but I can't stop playing it. I always play it every day. It's just
every
it's
day
it's
you're playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I jump into other games as well.
Is that your most played game right now? Like, let's say the last month?
Oh, easily. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. I mean, well, I like open. I won't go into it all right now, but yeah, I like open world games. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I put hundreds of hours into that, and once that sort of died, I jumped straight back into Fortnite and just keep playing Fortnite all the time. I've been jumping in and out of Modern Warfare as well, so I bet that's been taking up a bit of time as well. But Fortnite still definitely outranks anything else that I've been playing lately, for sure. But I jump around. I'm one of those gamers that nowadays there's so much choice.
He's a grazer.
Well, yeah, man. Like when we're growing up, you could only get a game every couple of months or a couple of times a year, you know. And that was even before Blockbuster was really a big thing. So it was even harder back in the early days. But now you just got so much choice. Game Pass. I got Game Pass Ultimate, obviously. So there's just so many games to play all at once. So I just jump in and out of stuff, try things. But that's a good thing. I mean, I don't mind. If sometimes you find a game like I found Proteus, and that game's really good.
That game
I really,
is
really enjoyed
fantastic.
that. Honestly, I'm a huge original Doom fan. Love the original games. Have them on all the systems that I've got. Got it on PC, got it on Xbox, got it on Switch. It's better than that, man. And I loved those games, and I found it better. The way it moves, the guns are awesome. The level design was fantastic. Just a great game. If you haven't played it, the music's good in it as well. If you haven't played it, get on it. It's really good.
I haven't played any of Proteus at all. I've been, like you just said, just bouncing around all these different games. Like, I literally didn't play Vampire Survivors until now, and I know that game's been out for like a week or two at this point. And it's because of God of War. I platinumed God of War. That took me and I played it on Give Me No Mercy, which is like the second hardest level because they don't allow you to play God of War from the get-go as the hardest difficulty, which is something else because in my opinion, I'm just like, dude, I just played it on the second hardest difficulty. Why the fuck would I want to go back and then play it on an even worse difficulty? Because that was already it's not that and here's the weird thing about God of War. I know I'm going off on a tangent a little bit, but like side note on it, like the difficulty of the game is you getting hit. It's not like the character doing moves less or you having more time to strike. It's you getting hurt more. So like if you get hit twice on Give Me No Mercy compared to like something like Give Me Story or Give Me Balance or something like that, you will die probably in 2 or 3 hits compared to the lower level ones. Which
You're right.
is it's all right, I guess, but like whatever. Um it was a really good game though. It was good enough for me to want to get all the trophies on it. So I highly recommend playing it if you like that kind of game or whatnot. But let me hit the chat real quick before we continue on. Cult Classic Cage says, I need a cop, Vampire Survivor, too many damn people talking about it. I mean, it's only a couple bucks from what I thought I heard. It's like $3 or something. I could be wrong about that.
It's in Game Pass.
I know it's in Game Pass. Is it on PC Game Pass though as well?
Oh, good question.
I can find that out
I want to
right
say
now.
yes.
I can find that out right now. I'm not seeing it.
No? Okay.
Under recently
It's
added, I see Somerville, Pentiment, Ghost Lore, Flight Sim, Monkey Island, Football Manager, Ghost Song, Tianding, Signalis, Gunfire Reborn, and Frog Detective. I don't see
yeah, right.
the Vampire Sub. Nope. Or it's at least in cloud gaming on PC.
Okay. There you go.
I don't know. That game is so small. I'd rather just have it downloaded on my console or my PC or something like that, and play it on the
Especially when it's
cloud.
only a couple of gig. Yeah. But what I do is I actually play them on cloud first because even if it's only a couple of gig, if it's no good, I don't want to have to download it and then delete it. So I'll play it for a bit, and then if I like it enough, I will download it that way. So it's a good option
No
to have,
doubt.
though.
But yeah,
They
that
need
game
to
is
they need to
fantastic.
put Game Pass PC and Game Pass console together, man. Like, why sort that out? It should be one thing.
Yeah, you should be rolling like it's super weird to have like a Vampire Survivors only come out on console and then like a what was that game called Death Stranding only on PC. It's like what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, it's only cool if you have everything, but if you don't have everything, you feel like you're kind of missing out on what you're paying for. If you pay for Ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. But I don't
There you
game on
go.
PC. I don't game on PC. I'm a console boy. Always will be.
Ashtrey said, I don't give a fuck. Anyways, continuing with the chat. Let's see, where was I at? Oh wow. Gold Classic Cage says, put a cute picture of your daughter in front of you so you'll naturally want to smile, like during like doing recordings and stuff like that. It's not a bad idea. Or depending on what she did that day, it might make me frown a little bit harder.
Yeah, exactly.
But continuing on, Colt also says, congrats on over 400 subs. Yes. Thank you so much,
404.
thank you so much, community, for hitting that subscribe button. If you haven't yet, go on ahead and do so. It would do me wonders. I'm trying to hit 500 before the end of the year. Likely won't happen, but I can still try. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Help your brother out. Hit that like button if you enjoy this show. We're going to continue on, but thank you so much, Cult Classic, for pointing that out. Shout out to you. And you hit over 1,000 and you're doing really well on your channel as well. So everybody go check out Cult Classic Cage as well. I've had her on the channel here. So if you want to know some more about her, I've had her on Bullsitting, and then also I did an episode of Behind Them Sticks like I'm doing with Ashtrey right now. So go check that out if you want to. But shout out to Gogo Poe and Gogo Poe and and Too Big up in the chat. Good to see you guys come through as well. And Cult Classic Cage says it is on PC Game Pass, so she probably had to do a little bit more digging than I did. I just didn't want to screw up what we got going right here and whatnot. Trying to look at all that, but that's awesome. She said she's downloading it now. Gungrave Gore comes out on Game Pass today, and she's hyped for that as well. Gogopol says, "Oh man, you're gonna miss out on Dark Tide next week on Game Pass, and that comes out on PC before it comes out on console. They delayed the console version. Did you know about that already, Ashtrey?"
Yeah. Look, it's not a game I'm particularly looking forward to, but yeah, I don't understand what the problem they're having with the console version. Really, I mean, it should be pretty easy to do, but for some reason they're delaying it, and it's already been delayed, right? It was supposed to come out last year, so I don't know what trouble they're having with that game, but it's a weird one. The game that I am looking forward to is
It's the S. It's the Series S.
It's not the Series S.
Holding back gaming.
Yeah, that potato. Damn it! Why did they make that thing?
Why?
That's crazy. So yeah, I don't know why. It's got to have something to do with the controls of it, converting it from mouse and keyboard to controller. Sometimes games don't correlate well when they try and do that, so maybe they're having issues with that. But I don't. Other than that, I don't understand why it would be difficult. I mean, games are made on PC, then basically ported over, right? So it's got to be a control thing. It has to be. It just doesn't make any sense otherwise, to me anyway. But someone else might know. I'm not a developer. That's just what I sort of think in my mind. But thanks to Classic Cage for subbing to my channel as well. I appreciate that. I'll have to, when I get a chance, I'll sub back to yours. That's awesome. Thank you.
That's what's up. That's what I'm trying to do with this community. Bring people together. It doesn't matter what you play on. If you respect gaming, whether you talk a little trash about it or not is your own thing. But if you respect gaming as a whole, then hell, I'm more than happy to talk to pretty much anybody on here. And I've been on your podcast, and I know you well enough to feel comfortable to be like, hell yeah, I'm having Ashtrey on tonight. Awesome. Even at 12:30 at night my time, I'm having Ashtrey on because he's a dope dude.
It's almost 1 a.m. for you right now. It's 2 minutes off. But no, I appreciate it. Actually, we need to get you on again. We haven't had you on for a few weeks. Oh, well, it's probably a couple of months now. Last time you were moving at the time. That's the last time we had you on. So when was that?
I was actually on, I think it was just a couple of weeks ago, because Red Dead was finally on there. Elite wasn't there. I showed up late, though. That's what happened.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because she was excited because you'd been on so many times and she'd missed you so many times. It was just like, what's going on? Is there a conspiracy here or what? That's right. That's right. Damn, man. See, all the episodes blur together because I thought it was the last time when you were moving, and that was, yeah, a month or so ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was about a month ago or so, maybe a little over. Here's something I see in the chat that I'm kind of interested in. I see Dragon Heart Yobi put it in the chat a little bit ago. He said, rumors are they are adding a first person mode to it. Man, if that happens, it's gonna bring even more people to it. And I'm guessing he's talking about Fortnite.
Really? Maybe? Yeah, Fortnite is crack at times. Okay, and then that maybe. Yeah,
Okay. Clear that up for me, Yobi. I'm not sure if you're talking about Fortnite, if you're talking about. Yep, he said talking about Fortnite. So yeah, I mean that's kind of interesting. A first person mode to that game. Would that be a way you'd rather play that game or not?
No, I love third person. Any game that's third person, I prefer. I mean, obviously, again, going back to the original Dooms, you played in first person, and a lot of games have been like that and still like that. But if you give me the option, I want to play in third person. I don't know. I just prefer the movement, that you get more peripheral vision. You feel, you're controlling the character as opposed to just seeing what the character would see. We see that in real life, right? You don't get a third person view in real life, so I prefer it.
Hey, that's a fact. Cult Classic Cage, it's 2 a.m. for her right now. It's pretty late.
Damn.
Gogo Po actually agreed with you, saying I'm betting it's getting the controls right as well. And DeBlue finds Yobi's comment pretty interesting, but continue on what you were saying, brother.
I was just going to say that, it's some games just don't translate well when they try and move them from PC to controller. I don't know why. I don't understand how it all works, but sometimes you pick up a game knowing it's been a PC game and you try it and you just know it feels like it feels a bit floaty or a bit stiff or something's like it's off. And then when a game's well optimized like Proteus, that's awesome on controller, and that was originally made for PC. Pick that up, and it'll feel really good. So they've been able to optimize that and get it to work with controller really, really well. So I usually think it comes down to controller input of some sort. So anyway, we're only speculating though.
Yeah, and we've been just jogging around the intro area. So let's actually get into some of the questions that are for the show. Let's keep this moving. So Ashtrey had asked you, and if you guys have been here before, which a lot of you have, I always ask people, what was the first console that you ever got down on? What was like the thing that started everything? And for you, Ashtrey, you said it was not the Mega Drive or the Genesis, but the one before it, the Master System.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about your experience with that. What couple of games really had you going at first? Because as you said previously, and I lived in that time period as well. So it's just like, bro, you didn't have like Game Pass or like a crazy like subscription service to get games. You either bought them or you rented them, and mostly you bought them and you only had a couple games at a time, and you played the living hell out of those few games that you had. So go on ahead and let me know what you had.
Absolutely, yeah. So I had the original Sega Master System. It was the big rectangle black and red one, and it actually came with an inbuilt game. Does anyone in the chat know what that inbuilt game was? I won't tell you right now. So I'm not talking about the Sega Master System 2, because we all know that came with Wonder Boy. The original one came with a different game when it first came out, and you had to do like a secret button press to get it to start. It wouldn't just start automatically. So let's see if anyone knows. But back then, man, we used to play Wonder Boy. We used to play Shinobi was a big one. We used to play that original Shinobi game. Man, that was hard. No save points. Only you could only pause the game, really, and you'd have to leave the console on overnight. Back in the day, So we played that. There's Ken Sidon. There's tons of games. Even Sonic was on there originally. Back before Sonic was on the Mega Drive. I think they must have released them around about the same time, but they were still different games, and we played them a lot. Sonic.
I heard the Master System version was actually better than the Genesis version at first, and I hear that from a Master System like maniac.
They were two different games. The levels were different. I've even got it. I've still got it here in my lounge room. I've still got the game, but it's dated. It's really dated right now. But it was fun. It was good at the time, especially for that 1988 or something like that. So it was good for its time for sure. But it was definitely the ones that always stick in my mind is Shinobi and Ken Sidon. I can't remember a lot of the others because my memory moves forward into the Mega Drive, which you guys call the Genesis, and that that was it wasn't my first console, but it was the biggest console for me at the time, because I remember my brother and I saved up as much money as we could, and we went out and we bought the console with it came with 2 controllers, and it came with Sonic 2 packaged in with it, and we played countless amount of hours on that game. Obviously, in story it through, and then we played a lot of the co-op. And you got to keep in mind as well, a lot of the kids don't realize is that we're playing it on like a screen about 30 centimeters, and that was all we had. So you had two little kids sitting next to each other in chairs with these little tiny controllers, playing on a tiny screen, and now we've got all these massive 60-inch screens and stuff that they don't know how different it was back then. But we used to play Sonic 2 like there was no tomorrow, man. That was massive for us.
Those old school TVs. Now, did you have the TV where you had to put those like 2 prongs in and screw it in the back and like a knob TV and stuff like that?
Yep.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, man. The way of gaming back in those days was something else, especially once you started getting consoles that came with component cables or composite cables. Then it's like, oh shit, now I gotta hook this shit TV up to a VCR and like fucking get it to work that way, because most TVs back in that time didn't come with like composite like inputs and whatnot like that. So you had to hook up like a VCR to it just to even be able to play it. So you'd be tearing down your front room and your mom would be like, what the hell are you doing? And you're like, I'm taking this VCR. I'll be back with it in a few hours.
Exactly. It was different time, man. And now, we're so lucky. One cable, HDMI cable in the back, power cable, bump down, no wrongs. Simple, and we just game. The only thing now is you've got to download everything, which we're still getting better internet speeds over time. But that was crazy to realize you had to, like, we could just put a cartridge in, and it would take 2 seconds to load up, and you could be playing within a matter of 10 seconds. Now you have to get the game and you have to download it, and it took a lot to adjust, actually, to be honest, when it first all came about for me.
Yeah, man. I love what Gogopol said in the chat. He said, back when 19-inch TVs were big screens. Yes, they were, bro. I remember I got a 19-inch symphonic TV, and it was passed down to me. I had to smack it on the side while hitting the power button to get it to turn on. And like this thing, it sucked, but I wouldn't turn it off for days after I'd get it on. I'd just throw a blanket over it. It was great. I mean, it wasn't great back then, but it's great. It's a great memory. Shit. But a little bit now as we move a little bit further into your life, so Master System was a big deal for you when you first started gaming. But what was the console? And maybe it was the Genesis dash Mega Drive, but what was the one that really like caught your eye and you're just like, this is next level right here?
Yeah, no, it definitely was. It definitely was the Mega Drive. Look at it. I mean, we got this one. We didn't get the first one for some reason, but we got the second model, and I still have it today. And it's just the amount of games that came out on that. I've got Micro Machines sitting in there right now. That was
Micro Machines. Wow.
Can you see that?
Micro Machines. What was that? Was that the
Codemasters?
No, I was asking. That was no, wait. I'm thinking of Matchbox versus Hot Wheels.
No. So this was Micro Machines, where you'd be on like the picture, pool table, kitchen table, all different locations, and it was sort of that top view, and you're racing in between, different things, and it could be apples and cheese and spoons and stuff. Back in the day, that was awesome. That was good fun. But yeah, that was, look, when I was a kid, that console sticks with me the most, because we were
man.
so we were hiring games more often. You know what I mean, right? So a lot of people probably don't know what Blockbuster is anymore, but we all do,
Old
obviously.
classic Cage in the chat said, "Y'all
Um,
talking in ancient hieroglyphics right now." I'm a 93 baby.
damn, I'm an 83 baby, so there you go.
Dang, dunked that 10-year age on you. Yeah, damn. She said, he
That's it.
said, I was 10 years old. I was already playing video games when you was being thought about.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah, so yeah, look, from those two consoles were definitely Sega boys, but we still went to people's places, friends. We had a friend across the road who had Nintendo, and we still played, Zelda and Mario and stuff like that, but we never really got into it like we did with Sega. It was just our sort of preferred console choice, and that's usually kind of how it worked, really. If you had a Nintendo, you had a friend that had a Sega. If you had Sega, you had a friend that had a Nintendo, and you just
Mhm.
visit each other and or even trade for a few weeks and play their games and swap back over, things like that. So,
Yep, and
but
everybody's little brother
yeah.
and little sister had a tiger toy. You remember those little handhelds like
A
Aladdin and
tiger
shit?
toy.
Remember Tiger? It was just those little square like handheld things. They took like 2 batteries in the back. They had like the Aladdin games. They had like Lion King games on them, and they looked terrible. It was like one of those things like when the battery started to die a little bit. If you tilted it a certain way, you couldn't see anything anymore. But if you kept tilting it a little bit more, you would see literally all of the digital stuff that was supposed to pop up on the screen at some point. Man, that shit's old.
I reckon if I reckon if I saw a picture of it, I would yeah. Yeah, okay.
You remember those Tiger handheld things? Those things are shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, they were cool for back in the day, right?
Yeah, I
For
guess
what you
they're all
had.
right.
I've got a I think it's called Galactica or Galactics, one of those sort of handheld, quite big, like maybe the size of a brick almost. And it's got the screen down the middle, it's got controls on both sides, and it was like Space Invaders.
Who was it
And
made
that
by?
was a handheld thing. I think might have been Mattel.
Oh, okay. So
I
Mattel.
think
Oh,
so.
yeah. Yeah, I remember
That's going
Mattel
back old school.
handhelds as well. I remember Mattel handhelds. Hell, Mattel tried to get like a console as well back in the day. Um, man, we're talking about all this old shit. Let's just, but yeah. So the Genesis was the hot thing at the time for you. What were some games that piqued your interest that really, because you already were, playing Sega before, so I'm sure some things carried over other than Sonic that you were just kind of like, I'm looking forward to this.
Man, the amount of games they had thousands of games on this console, or at least 1,000. So it's kind of hard to really sort of pinpoint uh, anything that came from the first one from memory. I mean, there was the Shinobi games, obviously, but for me, it was getting into all those side-scrolling games that they had. So besides Sonic, you had Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. You had the Castlevania games, which I didn't answer the question properly. But anyway, we won't get into that. What else? There was trying to think off the top of my head now. NBA Jam. Now I don't play sports games really, right?
Come
Especially
on,
these
though.
days.
NBA
But
Jam,
NBA
NFL
Jam,
Blitz, those kind of games are just like, you got to play them. They're arcade fun.
yeah, and I had the tournament edition.
I got that one right over there right now. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. And I used to play the shit out of that as well, man. That was good fun. Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat games, especially Mortal Kombat 2. I don't play fighters anymore either, but I used to love Street Fighter as well. There was what was it, Street Fighter 2 Turbo? That
Yeah.
was the jam. That was my jam back in the day. That was
I
awesome.
love beating up the cars and shit. Like, that thing was cool. Like, just like beating the hell out of the car. That Lexus. Like
Yep,
every
yeah.
time. I loved it, dude. That was so much fun. Streets of Rage was dope.
Yeah.
Road Rash. I mean, Toe Jam and Earl.
Yeah, yeah. Road Rash we played on the Master System actually. We had like the original one on the Master System.
Wow.
Did anyone know what the built-in game to the Master System was by any chance? You had to do like a secret button press to get it. I don't think anyone
I don't know.
no.
What was it? Go on
Okay.
ahead and reveal.
It was called Snail, and it was a maze game, and there was about I think there was about 12 levels, and you had to basically just try and get through the maze before the timer ran out. And that was it. And it just played the same music over and over again. If you jump on YouTube, you'll see it. You'll find it. I think it's just called Snail. Type in Sega Master System Snail game, and
Probably
it was
the
a
only
hidden
place you find that
on
game anymore.
the console. Someone's probably emulated it. I wouldn't be surprised. But that was kind of cool. Because we used to get the cat, and I'm sure you did the same. You used to get all the magazines, the video game magazines,
Oh yeah.
and it'd give you all your cheat codes and all your move codes and any secret codes and stuff like that for games
That was
all the
the
time.
only way to not be lost in a game or to like really get everything out of the game after you got done putting in your, blind hours with it without using any magazines or anything like that. There are certain games, especially like on like the NES and like Super NES with like Zelda and stuff like that, where it's just like, dude, if you don't have a magazine, man, it's just like you're almost just wasting away hours trying to figure out something that would take you 10 minutes to do if you had the magazine.
Yeah, well, it had all the walkthroughs through it and everything. Yeah, exactly. Now those were the days. Those were the days.
Absolutely. Shout out to Boba Fett Gaming in the chat
Boba,
as well.
boba.
Good to see you here, brother. Really appreciate you showing up. I mean, it's probably not the same time as you as it is for me.
Boba's on the same time as me.
Okay, so he's doing just fine. This is a regular time for you.
Yep. He's
All
probably
right,
had
cool.
dinner.
Just relaxing at this point. That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I'm happy to accommodate you guys this time because you guys are so busy accommodating our time zones and whatnot for the most part. So it's happy to be on the other side of the track for this one.
We appreciate that for sure.
Absolutely. Moving on. So Sega, great, both Master System and Mega Drive. But did you jump out of the Sega realm right after the Genesis, or did you start to do what I have here and have like the Sega CD and the 32X and like did you build out your Sega or did you move on to something else?
No, I didn't build out the Sega at all. I didn't see the honestly, the point of it. But we didn't get another console until the Sega Saturn, man. The Sega Saturn was the next console we got after that.
So did you guys even get all the add-on like opportunities?
No.
They didn't offer the CD or the 32X over there?
You could buy it, but we didn't jump into it. We were just happy with what we had, in all seriousness. The only thing that we bought was that cartridge that you could put in, and it then you put your game on top, and it would do all your cheat codes and stuff automatically.
Oh, like a Game Genie?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But no, we didn't do the Sega CD. We didn't do all that extra peripheral stuff. No, I mean we were only earning $8 well, what was it? Maybe $18 a week or something, man. So we had to scrimp and save at the time to try and buy this because this I can't remember how much it was, but it wasn't cheap because games have always been $100 here in Australia. So even back in the day, these were $100. Yeah.
So with this like $70, $60 thing that's happening right now, is that even affecting you?
Well, yeah, it does because our $100 games, which are your 60, go up to 110 or 115.
Oh shit.
So it does affect us. Yeah, for sure. Now, when I quote those prices, that's including tax, by the way. So just so you guys know.
Yeah, that's still insane. That's still like double the price. I mean, is it really though, or is your guys's exchange
What?
rates like the same.
Yeah. Once you do exchange rates and you factor all that in, and you guys add your tax in, because when you guys say 60, it's really what, like 67 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like a $60 game's damn near 70, and the $70 game's damn near 80.
Yeah, right. So that's why I always say when I quote a price, it's always tax. It's always tax inclusive here. So yeah, when it's $100, $100, that's including the tax. And then once you do the exchange rate stuff, it's very similar, very very similar. Because I had a look at it last night, because you can look at it up live. And if I was to give you a dollar and you exchange that into US, um, you get 66 cents.
Okay.
So it's nearly you guys right now are nearly worth double our currency.
Wow.
So and then once you do all that, it sort of makes a bit of sense. Let's just have a real quick on XE. So yeah, see, $1 Australian is 66 US cents. And that's pretty bad at the moment. It's not bad when it's around 80 cents, or when we were traveling back in when we were traveling the world back in 2012, I think it was up like mid 90s. So it was really good for us exchange rate wise. But now, yeah, it's pretty bad, 66 cents.
Oof.
So once you factor all that in, it's basically pretty much the same.
Yeah, but you looking for that 1-to-1.
Well, that'd be nice, but our minimum wage here is $20 an hour.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It actually even could be $21 an hour.
That's a lot higher than ours.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But then everything else is expensive around that. You know what I'm saying? So houses are expensive.
Right. Right. It's like, oh, you're making money now, so we're going to charge you money now. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're saying you didn't get the Sega CD or the 32X, you cut of, but you were good with just the regular Genesis or the Mega Drive for you at the time. What did you actually end up moving on to then?
The Sega Saturn was our next console.
Okay. So you were just a Sega kid, like,
yep,
from point A to point Z, like during the 90s at least.
Well,
like
yeah.
80s and 90s.
80s and 90s, yeah. They're the only, you would not get another console in the house. It was only Sega for us.
The whole family was in it.
Well, see, my older brothers are 8 and 10 years older than me. There's only one other that's just a year older. So they kind of moved on from gaming. They went out and partying and all that kind of stuff. So it was really just me and my other brother. And we were paying for it ourselves, because our parents were like, well, if you want to buy that expensive stuff, you guys can pay for it. So we did. We got paper rounds, and we saved our money. And we, instead of, we're too young to drink and do all that sort of stuff. So we saved the money up and bought consoles and games and stuff. Yeah, that's how it went. And we, when the Sega Saturn came around, I don't have it anymore. I sold it. I regret that. Daytona USA, Virtual Fighter, all those awesome classic games that we used to play all the time, over and over again.
I have Daytona USA. I don't have Virtua Fighter. I got my Saturn right here.
Which version do you have? Do you have the you got the black one?
Yeah. yeah, the black one with the slanted buttons, not the circular ones. I think it's a Gen 2.
Yeah, okay. Because it came out with different buttons. We had just trying to remember, because it was so long ago. I think we had the round buttons, and we had that sort of, because they always, for some reason, Sega always come up with like 2 versions of their controllers. And the first version that came with the console was it was that kind of shape that everyone's au fait with, but it was kind of a bit more thicker and a bit more squarer, if that makes sense. It was still bulky, curved, but it had that. Yeah, I quite liked that controller. But then they came out with another one that was sort of more slimline, which I didn't like as much.
The versions I have right here.
Yeah, so that's the one that came with the console originally, from memory.
So this is the one that you like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one.
This is a thick, kind of a thick guy right here.
Yeah, and then there was a thinner one that came out. It looked, I think, from memory, it looked a bit more like a boomerang. was more
Okay.
sort of curved and flatter from memory anyway. But yeah, a long time ago, man. That was like, 20 something years ago now.
I'm showing you some memories right here. All right. So Sega Saturn came out. You're playing, obviously, I mean, like you just got done saying, like Virtua Fighter and some Daytona. What are some other games that you're playing?
In all seriousness, I cannot remember.
Ooh, that's not
we'd
a
go
good thing.
Well, my brother would probably be able to quote them all off. Yeah, we played this, and this. How do you not remember that, man? I'm like, I don't know. I just don't remember.
Did it get overshadowed by a Sony product?
Well, maybe. Yeah, it's a little fuzzy for me, honestly, back then. But there was a game called Bugs. I remember playing that. That was like a 3D platformer. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that's right. You've reminded me. We got a PlayStation 1 in the house.
No, I knew it. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it to come. He's like, man, I wonder why my memory is so foggy. I wonder. It's because Sony took stage.
That was
elbowed the Sega out your house.
Well, I mean, it came out with with the Sony brand. I mean, back in the 80s, 90s, the Sony brand was just massive.
Walkmans
Everything
were
had to
on
have
fire back then, dude.
Absolutely. Everything. DVD players, VCRs, TVs, like everything had to be Sony for a lot of us anyway in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Walkmans, Discmans, MD players. I had an MD player back in the day as well. They were awesome. Yeah. So that, play Spec Ops and all that kind of stuff on there. Those were some times. That startup theme was is iconic now.
Oh, it is. I mean, it'd shake your house. If you had Sony everything back in the day, you had the receiver and the speakers, and you had the TV. We didn't have the TV. I think we had Hitachi TV or something like that, but we had Sony receiver and speakers and everything like that. And I remember every time I'd hit that big gray button that said power, man, that room would just start shaking, and it was phenomenal. Big old white with a purple, well, I mean not purple, with an orange diamond in the center, and you just pray that it hit the black splash screen if you damage your disc at all.
Yeah. Or if you chipped it, you could it would sometimes freeze if the disc or the burnt game didn't work.
Burnt game.
Burnt games, man. We used to do that stuff a lot back in the day, especially with the OG Xbox. But yeah, man. I used to play Tony Hawk skating on that thing, WWE wrestling on that thing. What else, man? Obviously Crash Bandicoot, all those iconic games. Yeah, everyone played that stuff. But probably my fondest memory of that was Tony Hawk skating. That warehouse level.
Oh yeah, that's the very first level.
We used to play the crap out of that level.
You gotta jump that damn
cool
gap.
Time. Yeah, exactly. That was cool. So I never picked it up when they did the remaster. What was it, about a year ago? 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it's about 2 years now, I believe. And anybody in the chat, if you guys have any questions about like his past or whatnot, just go on ahead and ask them, and I'll read them off to them. But yeah, so that PlayStation really took up some real estate in your household, and I'm wondering if there was any room for a Nintendo, or if it was just strictly PlayStation and Sega.
It was strictly PlayStation and Sega. I didn't get a Nintendo until later on in life. So I've got an N64, I've got a Wii, I've got a Switch now, but I didn't get them until, I don't know, I'm going to say about 10 years ago when I first picked up a Nintendo system.
You were how old?
Uh, I'm 38,
No,
39.
no, but when you first got a Nintendo.
So about 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, because I
Ugh, that's
I didn't
insane.
own any. Yeah, right. I didn't own any. I'd go to people's places and play. Like we used to have this game night where we'd go to our mate's place, and he'd have the N64, and um, you'd be playing Mario Kart, and so we just I got my fill from that realistically. So I didn't really kind of have a need for it. Um, and then but when I was older, I was like, you know what? I want to play those games again. So I'd go on eBay and stuff like that. And I went, all right, that's cool. I can afford that. Buy the console and get some games. And that's kind of, yeah, what I did. So I never actually owned a Nintendo until, yeah, about roughly 10 years ago. How crazy is
Man, that is insane that you went so long dodging that system. What was it that like made you just not really want to dive into Nintendo? Because most people that I have on this podcast or this show behind them sticks, like usually like Nintendo was like a marquee moment of their history. But for you, it's kind of an afterthought.
Yeah. Again, I got my fill when I went to other people's places because we all know that Nintendo was more dominant than Sega. So you could still find it everywhere. So I didn't have, never really had the need to own one. And I preferred the games kind of like now. I prefer the games on Xbox than I do on anything else. So I preferred the games on Sega than I did on Nintendo. They were more my style.
Here's a hot take question. I should ask more people this question.
Write it down.
This is a little rough, but would you say that there's something about the console that is less sought after that you chase more compared to the console that is established? So it seems like, because if you look at your history, it seems like Nintendo is running the ship, but Ashtrey's playing Sega. Nintendo's still running the ship, and Sega's kind of out on the edges, and this new thing's here. Let me rock with PlayStation for a little bit. Oh, they're really good now. Now let me go to Xbox instead. like, what is it with you with running away from the market leader?
I like the underdog. All right. I prefer the underdog, but it's just worked out that in time. It really has. Again, I got the first console I got introduced was Sega, and I kind of like, if I like it, I stick with it, right? And
Okay.
then when the PlayStation came into the house, it's like, well, this is new, let's try it. And don't get me wrong, I've got PlayStation 1, 2 PlayStation 2s, a PlayStation 3, and a PlayStation 4. But I only play them for their exclusives. But what happened was I took a little bit of a hiatus from gaming for a few years, mainly through my sort of teen to 20s because of women and stuff, parties and things. So I didn't
Sure.
play a lot. And yeah, I as soon as I saw that Xbox, I was like, I need to have this thing. Because it had all these cool features and these cool games that I was interested in. And it's kind of like, again, I liked it, and so I've stuck with it. I prefer the games on that platform, so I've stuck with it. It's kind of, I see where you're going with that question, because it does seem like that, and I kind of do tend to kind of go like that. But it's
I do
I
it.
think
I
more than
100.
anything, timing.
I'll stand behind it. I do that when something is, in my opinion, when something's not being held to the right standard, I feel like I have to step in and be like, you know what, you guys are talking bullshit right now. This thing is awesome. Like, I feel like that kind of person that I don't know. I always stick up for the little guy. And I know Microsoft isn't a little guy, but the way that people talk about it is like it's supposed to be like something that you shouldn't even think about. And I'm just like this thing is dope. Y'all tripping.
Like, I hear my son, he's 9, right? He's brought up in an Xbox house, so I'm gonna make sure that he likes Xbox over anything else. Be a good parent, you know what I'm saying?
Oh
But
my God.
but all his friends have PlayStations. If you walk down the street and stop someone on the street and you'll say, "Do you know anything about video game consoles?" and they'll probably say no. But if they do, they'll say PlayStation, or they'll say Sony. It's it's been established so long and so well. I mean, again, PlayStation had the Sony brand behind them. It was so big, and they, we've heard all the stories. We know all their history about how they got their way into gaming,
Mhm.
and but they've done a lot of shady shit, but they've done what they've needed to do to be synonymous in gaming. Xbox, on the other hand, have just keep making fumble after fumble and keep dropping the ball over and
Facts.
over and over again, and it's frustrating
They
as
can
hell.
afford it. That's the only reason they can get away with it.
That's the only reason why they're still around. The only way Xbox can die is if Microsoft kills it. Otherwise, they can be around forever. They don't have to make money. Obviously, they want to, but they don't have to.
That's
And for a
insane
long
to think
time there,
about.
they weren't. For a long time there, they weren't. And we all know that they were shut off and stuff like that. So but they've survived and they're growing. They just can't afford to keep making mistakes. And all these acquisitions and buyouts and purchases and all that sort of stuff is great, but they can still ruin franchises that have been established by buying them out and not treating them right, or by dismantling them, or just, I mean, what have they done with Minecraft? They haven't really done a lot with it.
No, I mean,
Realistically, no, I'm not talking about the spin-offs. I'm not talking about the new one that's coming out next year, or the Dungeons one. I'm talking about the original one. What have they done? They have barely done anything to it in terms of stories and like there's add-ons and things like that, but that's just content. What about an actual? Where's the 4K texture pack? You know, they haven't really done a lot with it, and it's kind of a little bit of a shame. And I think they should
so
work on it more.
Gogo Pole says that's not true. I'm wondering. Well, see, we know that Minecraft makes buku bucks, as Gogo Pole said in the chat just now. But what he's saying is like, what have they done to like surpass what they got already on Minecraft? And I think the whole thing with that, in my opinion, is like, why, why reinvent the wheel? They already got one that's rolling just fine. All they have to do is add a few things to it every once in a while and just kind of leave it alone. Because there is a part of Microsoft to where it's just like, don't meddle too much. Don't mess up something you got going good. So when I see them making this whole call it, and I actually got a big question for you because I was actually proposed this question a little bit ago, but so with this whole Call of Duty thing with Microsoft and Sony right now, I'm sure you heard about the whole 10-year offer to Sony and how they didn't like say anything about it. Now, if Sony came back to the table and Pong Soul asked me this question, so shout out to him, dope creator. He's everywhere. If you haven't heard of Pong Soul, just watch a few more podcasts and you'll figure him out shortly. but anyways, he asked me this question. He said, if Jim Ryan came up to me and I'm Phil or Satya or whoever, and he said, yo, so I got a deal. You can buy Activision and I won't bother you at all as long as you allow us to put Call of Duty into PlayStation Plus Premium day one, every time you drop it into Game Pass. What would you say to that? Would you take that and be like, sure, that's fine? Or would you argue it and say, yo, I spent my $70 billion. You ain't finna tell me what to do. Like, I have an answer that might surprise you, but I want to hear what you have to say first.
Well, I would do a really bit of. You know what I'd do? I'd say, yeah, you can have it day one, but it's going to cost you an exorbitant amount of money. So then it's up to them if they want to pay it. That's how I would try to do with it.
So you would do it. You just
You were
charge
saying,
them.
yeah, I would charge them through the nose. So it would be a case of, sure, you can have it day one. You can have all the stuff that we get, but it's going to cost you, I don't know, something ridiculous like, I don't know, $10 million to do it. Like, or even higher. Like, put it out of their reach just to piss them off. So you're doing the right thing. Yeah, sure, you can have it, but it's going to cost you. And we still get 30% of all your sales. Tough luck. That's the deal. Sure, you can have it day one, but I'm gonna charge you for it.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of on that similar boat with you where I'm just like, yo, sure. Like if that's what's going to take to get this deal done, sure, go on ahead and put it on your subscription service because you're still paying us for it. But keep in mind that now I have all that talent here. So if we decide to make a spin-off of that, we don't have to give you that version. We just have to give you this regular generic Call of Duty and War Zones. But we're not going to give you these spin-off of stories of, let's say they have a story of Price spin-off where it's just like a Price game or something like that. That would be interesting to see. But yeah, like if I'm Microsoft, dude, like you want this deal to be done for so much more than just Call of Duty. And if somebody's like saying, yo, don't take Call of Duty from us, we'll pay you, then take their money.
Money's money,
Like
man.
why not? Like you said you wanted to put it on Nintendo and all these other accessible services, then just do it then. Just do that, take their money and make them pay. Make them pretty much pay for this deal. That's happening,
Exactly right. Make them pay top dollar. If they want it, they just got to pay for it, and they can be unreasonable at what that's going to cost, and that's up to Microsoft to say. We never discussed money, but now we're going to, and it's going to cost you a lot of money, and then just make it hard for them because they're going to want to try and spend that. Obviously, if it goes to, I don't know the numbers, but if it goes too high, they'll go, well, that's just not sustainable. We wouldn't make anything from it, so they could do that. But if Microsoft still want to recoup as much of that 68.7 billion that they spent, they might still be on the high side, but they might just be enough so they can make a little bit of a profit out of it to keep them happy, but still be clearly taking advantage of them. And that's what I'd do, because that's more of a prick act. It's more of a, suck this, kind of attitude. I want to swear, but I can't.
Getting messy.
I swear bad. But, so that's what I would do.
Oh, you can definitely swear a little bit. Just don't get too crazy now. Just don't get too crazy. But Gogapol was saying some interesting stuff in the chat. He said Microsoft was in bad shape with Xbox for about 5 years, but but that's because they didn't know what they were going to do with it. Xbox dash Game Pass rebooted in 2020, pretty much when Google was about to buy Bethesda. When Microsoft wants something, they are stubborn and don't give up, but they have to see value in it, which very true.
I can't remember who was running the store for Xbox back in the time, but he was the one cutting it off, and he got removed after Phil took over. He got removed, and it all opened up from there. So there was people internally trying to stop Xbox because a lot of people still didn't really feel that it sat with Microsoft and was really kind of part of the business.
That's insane to know that there's people inside your own business that just don't believe in this product, but they're working there.
Yeah, man. But I mean, Xbox was, you guys have seen the documentaries and stuff. They were kind of the outliers. They were the rogue team that didn't fit in with the corporate.
They were the Stadia to Google.
But they made it work, right? And then once Phil took over, he obviously had to put something in front of Satya, and Satya could obviously see where it could take them. I mean, look at gaming. It's bigger than movies and music. You'd be silly not to want to pursue it. And at some point in time, Satya even said in an article somewhere that Xbox is a pillar of the Microsoft business. Now, to call it a pillar, that's like from being nothing to now being a pillar. That's a huge step internally for that business. And that's why they're putting so much force behind all these deals and trying to grow it. And we all know Microsoft is one of those companies that see 10, 15, 20 years out. They've obviously looked at what gaming's going to be and how it's going to work. And that's why they're looking at all this cloud infrastructure and using their servers and mobile gaming. And this ABK deal, like you said, is bigger than just COD. But Sony's short-sighted. They always have been a short-sighted business. They only see a couple of years in front of them. We all know that, Call of Duty is a huge franchise. 800 million in the opening weekend is massive for just one game. But we're looking at mobile. We're looking at PC. We're looking at cloud. And that's where it's really at. So this deal's bigger than COD.
Yeah, there was an article
Much
that
bigger.
I seen that pretty much said like Microsoft, they plan on getting into mobile, and if they don't, they'd see themselves as like a failure if they didn't get into that properly. And then I also seen an article saying where either Phil or Satya, I'm pretty sure it's Satya that said this, but like that they are all in on gaming, whether this deal goes through or not. So like whether this Activision Blizzard deal like is great, or if it, explodes in their faces, like they already see where gaming is going and they want a piece of that. And good luck. I mean, this is a money train. So like Microsoft
Absolutely.
ain't messing around, and it might get a little scary for some competitors out there in the near future.
For sure. Look, there's heaps of stuff that we don't know that's going on in the background. Apparently, it's a rumor, but apparently, Xbox have had deals in the background before the ABK deal came along, and they're all on hold. And they've even said that they're not going to stop at this acquisition. Once this goes through, there's more to acquire, and they don't. This ABK deal did happen pretty quick. It was like from end of November, and they announced it in the January, so it was really fast. But they had to strike as soon as they could on that. But others take time. It takes months, years even. So they've been cultivating other things in the background for many, many years, and they've put them on hold for now. So they're not going to stop. It's just the beginning. They're still third place, right? So they've got room to move.
And I've never seen a company so proud to be in third place. I've never seen a company so proud. They're just like, look at us. We are in third, y'all. We really need this, but I mean, even if we have this, we still in third. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like they're stoked. They're just like, yo, I'm content here. I'm good. This is great. Everybody else is like struggling to get games out and stuff like that, and they're like, we got money. We're good. We're just, let us know if you need us. It's just wild, man. I've never seen a company so comfortable to be in, there's a song that Nelly had way back in the day called Number One. He said, 2 is just a contender and 3 nobody remembers. And man, Microsoft is happy to be in that third spot right now. And to me, they're happy to be in it because they see the future. And that's nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah, they see the projection of what's going to happen. Now, everyone says that Microsoft is a software company, and that's true, right? But they're also, it's like McDonald's is a fast food chain. Well, realistically, McDonald's is a real estate company. And
yes,
Microsoft
they are,
is an
and it's crazy.
Company. Right?
Yes, McDonald's has more real estate than people fucking understand.
And where the real estate is.
Like before they put up a McDonald's, they they own that land before they even put
Mhm.
up before even they even put the building up. And they if you guys look, if you guys do some research, just look up McDonald's and some of the real estate that they got. They got McDonald's coming in years from now that are not even built or even in, in the process of being built yet, but they got so much land, y'all. It's disgusting.
Yeah, right, right. So it's actually a different game they're playing. So again, Microsoft is more of an acquisition company. They buy technology, they buy IP. That's what they do, right? In the background. So they've had many, many years, decades of acquisitions of buying tech companies and IP and all sorts of stuff. So they know what they're doing when it comes to acquiring companies in video games and where that's leading and how that's going to look. So they're happy to be in third for sure because they're not going to be there forever.
I want you to check out Cult Classic Cage's question. She's the last person to type something in the chat.
When and if Xbox becomes the big dog, what new underdog ship are you guys jumping on? I reckon I'll jump on Sony.
I don't know. I might go as far as
I'm
Luna.
kidding.
I might go to Luna. I hop on that shit. Bandwagon it for a little while, That'd be great.
Go over to Nintendo. No, I don't know, but I think it'll take some time for me if they when they get to first place, it'll take me
Oh
some
yeah.
time to want to stay there for a while. See what it's like at the top for a while.
I don't think Xbox is looking at taking that kind of spot for like a decade, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, they could come out with banger games for the next 3 years and it'd still be a fight for them versus Sony because Sony is just that dominant in people's minds. Like you were saying, just about your child going around and talking to people about gamers. Like a lot of those people, I mean, and to be honest, like when you find the console that you like, you're stubborn. Like most people are. Like
Yeah.
I like Xbox. You can shout from the high heavens how great PlayStation is. I got a PlayStation and I enjoy PlayStation, but you're not going to get me off of my Xbox. That's just how it is. And I'm sure it's going to be like that for plenty of PlayStation fans. So Xbox can, be neck and neck with Sony and they could have technically better games than Sony at some point. Like they can even take over like the third person over the shoulder thing possibly, and people will still be like, I'm playing on PlayStation. I don't care what Xbox drops. I'm playing on PlayStation. Let me know when it comes to PlayStation. I'm not playing it over there. It just is
Yep.
what it is, and that's fine. That's fine.
Yep.
But I feel like some of those people will end up being like me, where it's like, I prefer a PlayStation, but I also own an Xbox. And you're starting to see that happen right now with a lot of people getting these Series S's, the potato, That potato seems to be a lot of people's side dishes, though.
Exactly, man. I've told this story before, but I had when I moved into this house, I had to get some TVs mounted on the walls, right? So these two guys come in and they mount the TVs up and stuff, and I was playing. I think it was either Forza Horizon 4 or 5, not sure. Either one, but they're both beautiful looking games, right?
Right.
And I had it on my big LG TV, and they're like, "Man, what game's that?" And I'm telling them, and they're like, "That looks awesome." And I go, "What's that on?" I go, "It's on an Xbox." He goes, "Oh, see, we play FIFA, and we play with our friends on PlayStation, but that game looks awesome." I go, "Well, you can play FIFA on Xbox too, right?" There's Game Pass, there's a Series S, and I was telling them all about it. And they were like, "Oh yeah." Now they're still going to be on PlayStation, no doubt, right? But at some point in time, like NBL, the show's on Game Pass. COD one day in the future will be on Game Pass. It will bring those casual gamers over to Xbox. It will, mark my words. It will, because they don't care like us in the same level as us about a brand, about their favorite console. They just want to play FIFA, Fortnite, Madden,
Wherever their
you know,
friends are.
and wherever their friends are. And I told them there's cross-play and all that kind of stuff. And that's only going to grow as well. Cross-play, cross-save. So you can, get on an Xbox. You can play with your friends on PlayStation. So you will see people convert over in time, for sure. It's just going to take some time because, again, the Sony brand is so strong out there. But in saying that as well, I've been to parties, I've been to people's places, and I'll look down and they've got a PlayStation, of course. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh my god!
And then I'm like,
It's just
what
killing
are
you.
And I'm like, because I know that they're just sheep, a lot of them. Seriously. Because I say to them, I go, oh, what do you play? I don't really play anything. I use it for music. They don't even game on the damn thing.
Hey, I used to do that with my Xbox a lot though. My OG Xbox, yeah, I played plenty of games on it, but like, bro, that original Xbox was like the harbor for your music.
I've still got music on there, man. I got Dr. Dre's 2001 album on there and some
Oh
Tupac and
shit!
stuff, man.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Tupac
That was
Better
awesome.
Days was the first album I've ever heard on an Xbox, and it was such an insane moment because I was in the middle of playing Conflict Desert Storm.
That's a great album too, by the way. I've got a whole lot of Tupac albums.
Yeah, Tupac's
Big fan
dope.
of his. Absolutely. But
He is the
yeah,
man.
look, so yeah, look, I understand, like, yeah, but he solely basically had it there for DVDs and music. He didn't play any games. And you wonder why these big AAA Sony exclusives only sell 10% of their user base. Because it's more of a device. It's more like a VCR or a DVD player to most people out there. For your CODs and your FIFAs and all that, but it's not. They don't care about the AAA games like we do, like the hardcore do on Twitter.
Sure. Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can easily say that about, the Xbox and stuff like that as well too. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, a lot of the people that own these consoles only use them for their multimedia things, and then every once in a while they play a video game on it. I know I used to use mine like crazy as a multimedia until they started coming out with these smart TVs and stuff like that. But still, my Xbox One X I strictly use for TV shows and stuff like that at this point. And I actually enjoyed that second HDMI, the HDMI in part. I have my satellite TV plugged into that right now. So I still actually
Yep.
enjoy that, having it all in one spot. I miss that a little bit, but at the same time, I see why they took the direction that they took. 'Cause they don't want to get caught in that circle again. But Gogopol asks a fan, or he doesn't ask a question, but he more or less lays out a statement and says, "There's no underdog to me. I just care who's making who's makes the games. I only console war because I had a coworker that was a pony. He annoyed me all the time."
See, that's where it happens. Exactly. Everyone at my work's either PC or Nintendo.
That's interesting. I thought you was going to say PlayStation.
No. The people that I've spoken to, I mean, I don't talk video games much at work, but yeah, they got Switches or they play on PC. Seriously.
Cool Classic Cage cracked me up right there. She said, I feel like Sony is doing similar messaging with the PS5 in modern day that Xbox is doing with the Xbox One generation. And I agree with that a ton. And she says, I hate I hate both. Which is funny. That just cracks me up. But anyways, let's move on to the next topic so we could get going, because we've been just chopping it up, bullshitting for like the last hour and a half. We really haven't touched very many questions at all. So let's hit a few of them. We probably won't have time to hit them all because we got about, I'd say about a half hour left. But so I hear a lot about, the way back for you. So like the original PlayStation, all the Sega stuff, and you told me about like just a decade ago you got into Nintendo and whatnot, which is just nuts to me. But But during the not original Xbox, but the 360 and PS3 era, I'm guessing you were strictly on Xbox by that time.
I was actually, yes. Yep. I got the original white 360. The one that had the red ring of death.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. I can't remember. I didn't have a hard drive in it. No, yeah, I did actually. I had that big one that stuck to the side that was only like, I don't know, 20 gig or something. It wasn't much space there
Right.
at all. Yeah, I had that. Mine didn't red ring of death until 3 years after it all happened. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't use it a whole lot at the time. But yeah, it red ringed like 3 years after, and I didn't know a lot about it. I wasn't on social media and things like that, so I had to look it all up. And what was awesome about Microsoft was they still honored it, even though it was past its sort of time. So I boxed it all up, sent it off. A couple of weeks later, sent it back, and it was fixed. So that was really cool, and I still have it to this day in my lounge room. But I actually I bought a 48-inch LG LCD TV, and there was a deal. It was like we have New Year's Eve sales or New Year's sales, right? So when it's New Year's Day, you go out and there's a whole lot of sales, kind of like a Black Friday. And yeah, they had this TV at the time. It was 42 inches. It was expensive, but it was good. And it came with an Xbox 360 Slim with the Kinect. And so I got that, sent off for it. They sent it to me out for free, and I plugged that in, and that was awesome, man. I have spent a lot of time playing on that. So there was a bit of a gap in that era as well, because between the white one, moving, life, I didn't game a hell of a lot. But when I got that 360 Slim, which again I still have as well, with the Kinect, that got me back into gaming like a lot, full time. I was playing heaps. That was, and guess when that was probably, I want to say that was around 20. This is going to blow your mind. It was around like 2015, and I was
Ugh,
still
oh
on
my God.
360. I was still on 360.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Well,
I did not.
2015 is when the new consoles came out. So
The Xbox One, the original big one, came out in 2013.
13, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
2013, you're right. Because
So
Halo 5 came out in 2015.
yeah, right. So I was still on 360 then. I didn't get an Xbox One because I heard the rumbling that there was going to be a mid-gen refresh. And this is when I started to get into social media and all that kind of stuff. So I started to find out who's who in the zoo and all that kind of business. And it wasn't until the Xbox One X dropped, I picked that up day one.
Holy
And that's
shit.
when I jumped. So that was November 2017 is when I jumped from the 360
God damn.
over to the, yeah. Yeah.
You were in the glory days for a long time.
Yeah. Well, the 360 had so many games, and I had to catch up on a lot of them as well. So I was just playing game after game, Fable this and Gears of War and like heaps of games, catching up on all the stuff I hadn't played, because I just picked it up every now and then and played. So I really got stuck into it. And I remember talking to Dealer back then, because I've known him for quite some time now. He goes, man, you're going to be jumping from the 360 to the Xbox One X. It's going to blow your face off. And it did. Like but that's where I struggled, because with the Xbox 360, you just put a disc in and played. It was the Xbox One days where you had to download it and install it. And that was such a harsh transition for me, being so late in the game and everything. I'm used to it now, it's no problem. But you got to keep in mind as well, we only had 4 megabits per second internet. That's it. That was our speed. So it would take like 3-4 days or longer to download a game. So that's crazy, man.
Yep.
So
I
that's
remember
kind of
downloading Red Dead 2 on my Xbox One X.
120 gig
And
or something.
bro, that took me like 2 days to download that game. And like why I was so angry about that is because like I was ready at launch to play that game. And then like I was like, oh yeah, goddamn, I gotta download this joint. And I was like, let me see how big this thing is. And I was like, fuck. 2 work days later, I then get to play that game after it already was out and everybody was already talking about it and shit. I was salty as hell. But FarQ is up in the chat and he says, fraud confirmed. Talking about Ashtray right there.
Yep. Biggest fraud. That's all right. I'm fine. We've all got our different gaming stories. And I had like I said, I had a hiatus for quite a while, but I'm glad I did, I guess, because I was doing other stuff, and now I'm in it full time, and I've I think my gamer score was only around 12,000 when I switched over, and which isn't obviously very high, and it's now 118,000.
Damn.
So I don't just buy the Radalaka games and just play them and get all the score. I actually, there's a couple of those thrown in there, of course, but like Bullet Beat and that. But predominantly, they're all just games, real games, proper games, where I've gone out and played as many as I can and as much as I can. Like I've got all the achievements for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, including all the DLC, and it's like 400 hours in that game. Yeah. But if you like a game, right, you play it. So,
I mean, absolutely.
I built my score up that way.
It to me is weird that they have. I mean, it makes sense on a money sense, but to me, it's weird that they have these games that you can just get your gamer score like to these ridiculous numbers. Like I've seen times where I'd log into my Xbox and see where I was like, ranking. I'd be like 5th one day, and then I'd be like 2nd, and then like towards the end of the month, all these people start buying these games to get like higher gamer score, and they'll have like something ridiculous like 36,000 gamer score in just that 1 month, and I'm like, dude, like, I know you bought that. Like everybody and their mom knows that you bought that score. You didn't like you spent 10 minutes playing that game and got 2,000 gamer score and left. You dirty bastard. but there's a ton of people that do that. And hey, if that makes you feel better, then by God, go on ahead and spend your money on those things. But I don't see the point. Like sometimes when I see it on Game Pass, I'm like, oh, this is a quick 1,000, sure. But I'm not going to spend $5, $10, $15, $20 to boost my gamer score for a game that I'm not going to enjoy, going to grab the gamer score and then delete. Like that just doesn't sound fun. That's not how I want to use my money.
No, that's it. Exactly. Right. And look, we can at least pride ourselves in the scores that we've got and knowing that they're, legit. So, it is what it is. But I've only also, to let you know, man, I've only been online for like 5-6 years.
Well, what have you been doing?
I used to play offline all the time.
You living in the outback. Like, what's going on over here?
I just I always just played conventionally like I did back in the day. It's just you plug it in, you play. I didn't speak to people. I didn't have a headset, so I just played single player games. And that's just how I rolled. I know it's weird, right? But I was so super late to the online on the online world. And it was a transition to get in there. I mean, I'm on there nearly every night now, chopping it up with someone and playing multiplayer games. But I didn't play multiplayer games because I'd get too angry and upset. And it's probably better that I didn't because I get too pissed off too quickly, especially in COD where you die every 2 seconds. But I get a bit better with it as I've gotten older. I'm a little bit better. Still not good, but better.
All right, so now I gotta ask you how you got into content creating because this is wild. You're saying, you know, I always went for the underdog. I just got a Nintendo within the last decade for the first time. Um, I just got Xbox One X in 2017 and just
Yeah.
like foregone my 360. Like, when did you decide to get into content creating? Because it seems like you're late to the bus on several different things, or just like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but like, what the hell brought you into content creating? If this is the history that you got, which I mean, it's a fine history. It's just like all over the place.
It's different.
It is different.
It's really different, man. Um, I got into it because I wanted to actually improve my skills. I wanted to feel more comfortable in talking and being out there and putting myself out there. But at the same time, I'm a big Xbox fan, and I think that there's a ton of channels out there for both Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo and everything else. But there's a lot of PlayStation channels out there, and I was like, you know what? Well, Xbox is my jam. I want to be one of those guys. I want to create some content. Hopefully, people like it. If I grow, I grow. But it's really just to get my thoughts out there on games and what's happening. I don't make videos too often. Some people make videos twice a week, 3 times a week. I don't even do it weekly. I should, but I don't. I probably make a video every 3-4 weeks. But at the same time, I want to make a video on a topic that I'm interested in, because if I'm not interested in it, I don't want to just make it for the sake of it. And I don't think for me that's not going to work. So if it's just a case of, I need a topic, I'll pick that and I'll make a video, you're going to definitely tell that it's going to be half-assed and not a lot of effort put into it. So I just want to make sure that whatever I create is something that I'm proud of, and it helps me learn every time. I'm slowly getting better and better as I go, and that's the main thing. It was just to get my voice and opinions out there and see how it's received. And it's different too because maybe this is my own hang up, I guess, but I'm Australian. Every content, or a lot of content creators out there are American. It's an American audience. When I even look through my data for my videos, majority of it, like a huge percentage of it, is American, and that's just because it's the dominant country for video games and that. So I stand out, which is probably a good thing though too, right? And people can understand me. It's not like Gaz or someone else that they can't understand.
Shout out to Gaz.
I speak clearly and hopefully I sound different to everyone else. So that's cool. I like it. That's my take.
Shout out to Master Clown X3 in the chat. He says, salute him. I support the King and Queen's been since the beginning. Don't deviate. That's awesome. Good to see you show up. I know this is super duper later than my usual show is, but I had to show some support to the other side of the world, and also give him that opportunity to relaxingly come onto the show instead of feeling like he's finna miss out on half a night's of sleep just to get onto the show and stuff like that. Like, just wanted to make it nice and comfortable for him. I'm always up around this time anyway, so figured why not do it. But anyways, so you got into content creating to get better, more better understanding of video games, what to talk about, where things are going, and whatnot. Who was some of the people that you really connected with the most when starting to getting the podcasts and stuff like that? We see now that you're with Elite Guru Gaming and Red Dead Panda, but did it start out with them, or did it start out with somebody else, or even solo?
Yeah, so I've actually been on a few different podcasts even before I started my channel. I was on the Shop podcast a couple of
PTK?
years ago. Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's where you were on, where Pong Soul asked you that question. Yeah, I was there
Yes,
on
yes,
in the
sir.
chat listening. Yeah, yeah. And then I think a lot of people sort of start out on that show. It's great. He gets a lot of great guests. He's got a great panel. Um, so I did that. I've been on GRG, and again, I wanted to get myself out there and my thoughts and that. And it's yeah, every time I've been on a podcast, it's sort of made me feel good, and that my interpretation of a topic usually gets, oh yeah, I agree with what Ashtray said, or I like his take on that, and that makes me feel good, thinking, well, okay, so my thought process on this thing's pretty good. I think I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes that doesn't always work, but majority of the time it does, and so that's been really good for my confidence levels with talking with people and having an audience and things like that. So that's sort of it's sort of started with doing a few podcasts like that as a guest. And then it was really kind of just again like talking with Dealer, and he's just like, just try it, just make some videos, man. Just see how you go. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but just give it a shot. You got nothing to lose. And I'm like, you
That's
know
a
what?
fact.
Yeah, I will. I will. Why not? We'll see how it's perceived, and I'm happy with the way the channel's going. It's going well for me. I'm really happy with the way my videos are getting viewed, and I've grown in subscribers, and I've only been doing it for a year, so I'm pretty happy with what's going on, and I'll continue to do it, and I'll keep doing. If people invite me on, I'll guest, and I'll keep doing the show with Elite and Red uh, as long as I can. So it's all really good right now for me.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good to hear some good stuff coming from you, brother. And I appreciate that. Cult Classic Cage, she says, drop a like. If y'all can, y'all show some love. Yeah, share this out on Twitter or whatever social media platform that you got. Hit that subscribe button if you like this kind of stuff. I'm definitely gonna keep pumping out more content. More people are going to be on here for more interviews, and then me and Loke are actually going to be starting something next month where we do kind of like a news dose kind of thing um, every Tuesday. So I'm actually going to be probably not 100% sure, but probably going to be sacrificing one of the behind them sticks days because I do them 2 times a week as of right now. That might become 1 time a week, and then have the news like every Tuesday. And the point behind the news one is because on Fridays we tend to BS and just kick back and joke and stuff like that. We want our Tuesday show to just be strictly just here's some, fine points of the news, some stuff that's really important. We're out of here. And like anywhere between 15 minutes to like 25 to a half hour. So we're going to try to actually give everybody a show that they can watch and not feel like they have to be here for 3 hours or something like that, because I understand. I mean, a lot like Dealer's podcast is dope. That's usually about 2 or 3 hours. Same with like your guys' podcast with the Elite Guru on Gamers Initiative. That one's like 2 hours or so, give or take.
Yep.
Our show Bullsitting is. And I've had some people come up and ask, like, yo, like I like the content that you got, but I don't have 3 hours. And I'm just like, I got
Yep.
you. I know. So I'm gonna start making some stuff that's gonna be shorter, to the point. Me and Loke are just gonna hit the nail on the head and get the fuck out. And so you guys can enjoy the rest of your day.
Well, that's a great plan, because then you've got content for everyone, right?
Right,
Because content
exactly.
like this, not necessarily can listen to it live or listen to it all in one go. But like, for example, I've got to go sometimes out on the road for work, so I can listen to it in the car as I'm driving around. So having
Exactly.
a long podcast can be useful for that. But yeah, those quick 15-minute videos or even shorter are really good to just get that hit of news from a content creator that you might not be able to listen to for 2 or 3 hours. So yeah, great.
Exactly. Yeah. Just hit them over the head with some news real quick. They got like a 10, 15, 20 minute drive. You start the podcast and it's over before you even get there, or it's over right when you get there, or something like that. That's what
Yep.
I want to give people the option to have, because everything that I have is like an hour and a half minimum hour and a half, and it's just like that's not going to work for everybody. Fark U says, I've missed majority of the show, gonna watch the rest back later, but really enjoying hearing your journey, Ashtray. Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting journey. I mean, if you go back and hear what he said, some of the stuff that he said earlier, like bro, it's what?
I'm not conventional, man. I'm not conventional at all in any way, shape, or form.
You got a Nintendo in after 2010? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I know, right?
It's the first time he owned a Nintendo. That's insane. But anyways, moving forward. So, what would you say throughout all the consoles that you had, what the most beloved one is?
Most beloved.
Like, if you were told to sell every single console out there, what's the one that you're putting behind the curtains that no one's knowing that you're keeping?
Oh, well, if it's a case of I had to sell them, but I'm saving one, it's got to be my Series X. It has to be, man. That's my console right now, man, and that's my Halo edition. No one's getting their hands on that.
Fair enough. That was a simple answer right there, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
but if it was something more along the lines of sort of fondest memories, or just probably fondest memories. I don't know, man. It's a hard one because I love my Mega Drive, but the OG Xbox was such a great console for me too.
Damn.
So. But then I love the PS2 as well. It's too hard.
Stop it. Xbox. Stop. You're done. Anyways, I mean, PS2 was fantastic. That was my introduction to Grand Theft Auto 3. I did play London in 2. I never played the original Grand Theft Auto, but I did play London in 2. So jumping into Grand Theft Auto 3 on PlayStation 2 was mind blowing. Playing some of them.
I played that first as well.
Exactly. I'm big into sports as well. So like playing some of the newer NCAA football games and Madden games on the PlayStation 2, those were some of the best football games of all time, and still at this time are. I mean, technically that generation had the best sports games in my opinion. It had like the streets, like in the NFL and NBA Street. It had, the blitzes back then still. It had NFL 2K, which was fucking dominant. A $20 game that made Madden look like dog shit. Like, it was insane. But they also had fantastic other games on those older consoles, like PlayStation 2 and the Xbox back then too. Like movie games like The Warriors, dude. Like The Warriors is one of my favorite games of all time, made by Rockstar Toronto. Like, that shit was insane. Max Payne, obviously, and I mean, Rockstar was crushing it back in those days, man. They were outside, as people would say. They were outside. Max Payne, Grand Theft Auto, whether it was 3, San Andreas, Vice City, what was it, 4, or Bully. Remember Bully? Did you ever play that game?
No, I didn't.
Bully was something else, bro. Like I said, Warriors. What's another great game? There is a crazy spooky game. I forgot what it was called. Somebody in the chat help me out. What was that game made by Rockstar that was like super? It was like Manhunt. Manhunt is the game that I'm thinking of, and that, Rockstar was out of pocket back in those days. they were really good, but like really controversial at the same time.
Indeed. Did you ever play GTA 3 on the OG Xbox?
Better.
After playing it on the...
It was better.
Yeah, right.
It was.
Right.
It like all the GTAs were better on the Xbox. Not only did it run smoother and faster, and like getting through that initial load screen when you first turn on the game, it was fast. But then you get into the car to listen to your music, and you can listen to your jam.
Yeah,
dog.
exactly.
I was bouncing that Yardie joint, listening to some "Today Was a Good Day" by Ice Cube. You already know, man. I was living.
That's it. That was awesome. I wish they could bring that feature back. That would be sick. I obviously there's got to be copyright laws or something why they don't do it, but that would be awesome if you could have a radio station that was your own music, your own playlist. That would be the best. But yeah, I mean, the water droplets when it would rain would be on the screen as well, and that was only on the Xbox version at the time. Do you remember that when you're driving through the rain, you had the droplets running down the screen?
Yeah,
I mean, just the shine on the car, like the paint job looked better.
Yeah, I still got all those games to this day on my original Xbox, even though I can play the other version on the newer consoles. The newer version just sucks to me, in my opinion. Like, I'd rather play it on my original Xbox than play it on the new console, even though it technically looks better and runs at 60. It just, I don't know. I'd rather play it on my old, especially with my own music, because music on those old on the original Xbox would play into the game properly. So it wasn't like Spotify like you have now, where you turn on Spotify, a cutscene goes on, and you have to go pause Spotify. With the original Xbox, you have the music implemented into the game. When you go to the cutscene, it dims out.
Yep. Yes.
And it was fucking perfect. It really was. That's all I really got to say about that.
Yep. No, I agree. I used to play it basically every 12 months as like a ritual thing on the OG Xbox for years. So that was just, it's October again. Okay, I'll boot it up and play it. And that's what I used to do.
I think my last game I played was Midnight Club Dub Edition on my OG Xbox. Fucking phenomenal game. Love it.
Got about 30 or something, 30 odd games on the hard drive on there.
Oh, see, you cheating motherfucker. See, I don't. I have 0 chip devices. All of my devices are clean, y'all. They can make their way through customs. They good to go. They clean. They ain't got no drugs in them. They ain't got no hacks. They ain't got nothing. They clean. All right, y'all over here modding shit and fucking with y'all consoles.
It was good, man.
Yeah, I mean it is dope, and I am jealous, but I ain't gonna. I guess I did admit it, but fuck it, fuck y'all. But anyways, moving forward, I want to know, like, so what gaming genre of all of gaming? So if you were to walk into the store, and you know how you walk into Best Buy and you go to the music section and everything's put it in genre, right? I feel like they should do this with video games. My idea. I'm not sure if anybody else has this idea, but when you walk into a game store, I'd like it to be by genre. Let's say you do that and you walk into that store, everything's by genre. What's the very last genre that you are checking out? The genre that you most dislike or really don't really care to touch. What one would that be for Ashtrey?
Ooh, there's a couple of them, but I'd have to say roguelite. I don't like roguelite games. I can't stand them. That and turn-based games. I don't like them. Yeah,
man, me and you could be really good friends, man, because I don't like really either. Like, everyone was talking about how good. What was that game? Well, there was Returnal, and then there was the other game, Hades.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hades. Everybody was loving on Hades, and I just couldn't do it. I was just like, this game, the combat is fun, but as soon as I die and have to restart, and then everything looks a little bit different, and I'm getting different weapons, and sure, I'm getting stronger, but I'm not really enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Like, restarting over and over, I don't like. Same with Returnal. Like, I'll have a blast in that game for an hour. Go verse that boss. Get there. Don't understand how the boss attacks us. This happened to me 3 separate times. I play that game and I'm like, man, I'm killing shit. I don't know why I stopped playing this game. I don't know why. And then I get to that boss and I don't remember any of the attacks the boss is doing. I'll beat I'll kill like 3/4 of the boss's life, because that boss has a few different transformations or something like that. And like I'll get to like the second or third transformation and then I die. And then I go all the way back to the beginning and I'm like, I'm done with the PlayStation for tonight. Like, I
Yep.
turn it off,
Yep.
and I just never come back.
Yep.
That's roguelike games to me. Like I lose. It reminds me of Mario when I was a little kid. I'd lose in Mario and then be like, I'm gonna go do something else. I'm done with this. I lost all my lives.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's the thing. I don't like repeating the same thing. I like progression, and I know it has a form of progression, but it doesn't feel like it. And I don't like to backtrack through stuff either. So yeah, I definitely don't like that. And turn-based games, they just feel like they're rigged from the get-go, right? It's your turn. No, it's my turn. It's your turn. It's my turn. And it's just like, if you don't do the right thing, you're going to die. And I'm like, all right, bye. Turn it off. Something else. I'm just not interested in them.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
See, this sounds so much like I'm lying because I got I got a little over 80 hours into Persona 5. All right. Been playing the hell out of that game. I'm losing my mind. The story's really good. The thing is I hate turn-based games. But that game's story is so good, in my opinion. I mean, it's kind of high schoolish or whatnot, but I enjoy that kind of stuff. I used to watch all those. Like I'm the guy that used to watch Smallville and shit back in the day. I really love me some Superman. I enjoy a corny story. I'll watch The Flash on Netflix. I don't give a shit. Like I like some of those corny stories. Those crazy like young kids. They're making bad decisions and you get to watch them do it. like I enjoy doing that kind of stuff. So playing that game didn't really bother me. But the game that got me into even trying turn-based was South Park Stick of Truth. South Park Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole. If it wasn't for those games, I would never have played or even tried Persona because I hate turn-based, but South Park is so fucking funny that like I enjoyed that. I enjoyed all the stupid and corny quirks that they had throughout that game. But yeah, for the most part, especially if it's a bunch of subtitles and just like no voiceover at all, not with turn-based or tactical games like Gears Tactics, Halo Wars, RTS games like Age of Empire. I can get lost in them for hours, but once I stop playing it, I'm probably never coming back.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar there too. Like I'll play it for a bit and then a couple of hours in and then I'll put it down and I probably won't come back to it. Same kind of thing. But obviously we've got a similar sort of hatred there or dislike, I should say, for those kind of genres. I just don't like repeating the same stuff. That's really the big thing for me. I just don't like going through the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't feel like I'm progressing. So there's quite a few games out there like that now. And now, Elden Ring, everyone loved that. I didn't.
I'm guessing you didn't.
No.
See, that's where we differ right there. I thought Elden Ring was fantastic, but yeah, it definitely isn't a game for everyone. But I was definitely surprised on how much that game made me into it when I'm not a Souls player. I don't like Souls games.
Yeah, but look, I've got it, so I'll probably try it out again. It's a beautiful looking game too, but yeah, I've probably just got to, because my style of gaming is kind of just rush in. I
Oh
call it
yeah.
That's just how I roll. I've always kind of been like that. And I blame the original Doom games, by the way, because that's how you played it. So I've always been like that with games and Sonic, it's fast. So I kind of grew up playing games quickly. Now you've got to take your time. You've got to learn their moves. You've got to block. You've always got to block and parry. That's kind of slows it down for me. And I'm not used to it. And I'm like, I just want to hit them. And it's not the case. And I've got to tell myself, all right, man, you can't just hit them and wail out on them. You've got to block. You've got to dodge. You've got to parry. And it's just not quite inbuilt in me to do so. So I'm a slow learner. What can I say?
Yeah, Boba
But I'll
Fett
give it a
said
shot.
co-op Elden Ring is an option.
True. Yeah. Because Boba liked it as well. So yeah, it is an option. He'd hold my hand and do all the work for me.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, getting down to like the last few questions. We're at a little over 2 hours right now. I want to know from you this year, what were the best 3 games that you played? It didn't have to come out this year, but just the best 3 games that you played this year.
Ooh. Okay. Best 3 games this year. Okay. Well, one of them that comes to mind is Proteus that we mentioned before.
Okay.
That's definitely, I really liked it, so I suggest you try it, man. Give it a shot. That was really really good, that game. Um, Problem is they tend to be shooters most of the time, but I will say Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That's I know it didn't come out this year either, but I played a lot of it this year, especially at the sort of the beginning of this year.
Okay.
So there's definitely that for sure. Um, Third one makes it a bit harder because there's been quite a few games that I've jumped in and out of, and whether I've spent a lot of time or a little bit of time, I've still sometimes enjoyed them. So like for example, what's it called? It's called Bulletstorm. Remember
Oh,
that
okay.
360 game,
Yeah, it's
Bulletstorm?
old school. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed that because that's kind of like a Gears-esque game. It was made by, I think, People Can Fly.
Okay.
Um,
Which they made
and
Judgment.
yeah, they did Judgment, and what was that game that is on Game Pass that they did?
Outriders?
Outriders. Yeah. So they've
Which
got that
Outriders is
whole.
fun.
It's pretty good. I don't like how they spawn behind you. That kind of annoys me a little bit, but because they flank you a lot in that game. But yeah, Bulletstorm was really good, and I hadn't played it through the 360 gen. I still go back through and see, okay, what didn't I play? What did I miss out on? And
I
then
do
I'll
the
try and
same.
play it, still. So
That's why I have so
that
many consoles. It's not just to have the games that I loved, but it's also to play the games that I completely whiffed on. Because
mhm.
as we said earlier, we weren't rich. So we didn't have every single game that came out. Game Pass wasn't available. Blockbuster, you can only keep a game for 5 days. There's so many games that you just missed out on. And plus, I was one of those kids at Blockbuster. When I enjoyed a game, I re-rented it.
Okay, yeah, yep, makes sense. Because then you get your full playability out of it. I mean, 5 days
Exactly.
isn't enough, especially back then. It wasn't enough to finish a game because you'd go
Not when you
through
got
it.
school and everything.
Mm-hmm. Like you
So
might only
yeah,
have an hour a night and weekends to play. So yeah, exactly, man.
Uh,
But look, yeah, they're the sort of the notable ones that pop in my head anyway that I've played this year.
fair enough. So now I want to know. So this will kind of let everybody know what
Oh
game
shit.
or let you know what games you really love or whatnot. But I want to hear what your favorite studio is and what game best represents that studio.
That's a good question. Look, I have to still give it to um Ubisoft, and I have to give it to Assassin's Creed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I know that might sound like a
Old
little bit of a
style or
cop
new
out.
style?
I like both, but I prefer new style. So up until really for me, Odyssey really because I didn't actually like Origins very much.
Okay.
Odyssey really sort of brought it back for me, but 4 was my favorite for a long time. I loved the Caribbean. I loved the pirate theme. I really loved 4, which was Black Flag.
Black Flag.
Yeah, I wish they would do another version of that in today's world, like today's graphics and stuff, and that sort of more open world game. But Yeah, I really liked. So I did like the old school, but I prefer the new school because I like that big open world. I'm a bit of a pony when it comes to that kind of stuff. I like that third person over the shoulder action adventure, not necessarily story driven per se, but I like that action adventure game. And that's the only reason why I buy PlayStation, so I can play Uncharted's and God of Wars and Horizon Zero Dawns and stuff like that. So
See,
that's
you
the kind
trying
of
to
game
throw
I
a slight
like.
shade of disrespect right there. You said I'm kind of a pony, and all right. Oh my god.
I'm trying to be controversial, but yeah, Assassin's Creed, the new ones, I like them. Some people say they're not really Assassin's Creed games, but I like to beg to differ and sort of say, well, you can still be stealth. You still can um, hide in bushes and assassinate and stuff like that. The only thing that they shouldn't have taken out was the double assassinations. And I know you can throw an axe, like you can assassinate someone in Valhalla, then throw an axe to kill the other guy that's over there, but it's like in again in Black Flag where he'd come up behind him and get both of them at the same time or jump down and get both of them. You couldn't do that in these newer ones, which was a little annoying. But that's only sort of one aspect of it. You could still attack a castle or a fort the way you want to do it. You could do it from underneath and go up. You could do it from the top and go down. You could be swords out, or you could be stealth. And the fact that it gives you that option to do all that, I like options, and I like a world where I can get lost in and spend nearly 400 hours in, and that's what I really enjoy.
See, what I don't like about the new Assassin's Creed is that it's level based. So I jump off of the top of a tower and stab somebody in the neck, and they get up and one tap me. Like, come on. Like, it's just like, come on, dude. I just jumped from like 3 stories and just jumped onto your neck, and you get up and elbow me, and I just can't handle it. That's the
Yeah,
only thing that
I
drives me
mean,
nuts about that game.
you can once you level up yourself, it's pretty much no one that can stop you. So yeah, but I found that actually a big transition because in Odyssey you have those mercenaries that come
Right.
up on the screen, and when you have to be either the same level or above them to really, like, you can do it when you're a couple of levels lower, but you've really got to pace yourself and you've really got to dodge and parry. But otherwise, I just leveled myself up and then went and got him. So I was like 5 levels up on him, just to make it easier.
Not me, man. I always go into things underpowered. Like I mostly beat a lot of my games underpowered. And that game
Really?
doesn't really allow you to do that without a fat amount of frustration because you'll be fighting somebody that's a few levels above you for like 20 fucking minutes. Because like
Yeah.
they just won't get that much damage and you'll be doing your strongest moves to them and it's like a millimeter of their health.
Yep.
It's insane.
Yep. That's what I just left that stuff. Came back to it when I was above them, and
Good for you.
because they come up on the screen, you can cherry pick them and go, all right, well, he's 2 levels lower, 3 levels lower, 5 levels lower, and just go for it.
Fair enough. Now I got to know what your most anticipated game is for 2023 and beyond.
2023 and beyond, most anticipated.
It can be plural games.
Well, yeah, I mean, Starfield's definitely up there for sure. From what I made a video on it a few months ago. I like the idea that you've got options to be, a pirate or a corporate, and then you can choose the way you want to approach the situation. Again, it rings to me that you kind of have these freedoms, which I like that kind of stuff. So I think, and that's going to be a big game. It's a big RPG, so that's kind of, and it's space, so it's a bit different to medieval times and
That's the thing that's catching my eye
and
with it the most.
yeah, right. So I think that's probably going to be my most anticipated game for next year for sure. Yeah,
Is there
but I mean, look, we
any
know
side games?
Xbox. Well, Evil West, which I think came out today. I want to pick that up tomorrow because that's cool. That looks awesome. I like that kind of cowboy genre with superpowers and stuff. So that's kind of cool, and guns, of course. That's always
Right.
fun. So that's I'm gonna probably pick that up tomorrow when I get a chance. But I mean, all the games that we hear that are in the works for Xbox, we still don't know a lot about most of them. And I'm still intrigued about what they're going to be bringing out, because it's only a matter of time until there's an onslaught of games that are just going to keep coming. But we just don't know enough about most of them at the moment. That one, I mean, Indiana Jones. I'm really looking forward to when that comes
Yeah,
out.
Machine
Because I
Games.
love those. Yeah, right. And I love those kind of games. I love Tomb Raider, and this is going to be an Indiana Jones game. And so
Right.
that they've got to protect that IP, so that it's going to be good. It's going to be polished.
Yeah, it has to be.
That
It can't
I'm
fail.
looking forward to that. It can't. You're
I
right.
mean, if it does, and it's an Xbox PC exclusive kind of title, that's something that could really hurt them if that game is bad, because that IP is it's very beloved by a lot of
Yeah.
people, and even
yeah.
people that aren't really big into Indiana Jones at least respect the lore behind it, because there is a lot. That game's been made several different times for several different generations of consoles, and it's always been okay. But now that it's in the hands of Xbox, people are saying, yo, this game has to either be good or it's a fail.
Yep.
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 This is no Spider-Man Activision kind of thing. This is a you have to win situation.
Yeah, no, it's make or break for that kind of thing. They need to get that right, because it's IP in their hands that they need to make sure that they really respect, and they really spend their time looking after it. Another game that we don't know a lot about, Contraband. It's like a
that was supposed to come out, I think, this year.
Right, but I don't think it's going to come out until 2023 sometime.
Oh, right, yeah. I know it's either going to come out probably mid to late next year, possibly even the following, but I think it's going to come out in 2023.
Yeah.
The thing I'm nervous about is I've seen zero gameplay for that. All I've seen was that still photo that they were kind of moving, that live photo that they had for it for the Xbox showcase. That's all that I think anybody's really seen of that.
Yeah,
game.
the camera was panning across different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they were playing that song, and that's about it. And then we heard that it was I think a 4-player co-op heist thing. I mean, it sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Just depends on whether they can pull it off or not. So I'm looking forward to Contraband as well. That it's intriguing me at least. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
There's also Avowed. There's Hellblade. There's just a lot, man. You know what game I haven't heard about, but I don't think it's going to be ready until 2024, 2025? Is that Wu-Tang game.
Now, is that a fighting game?
It's supposed to be I think it's supposed to be an RPG kind of fighter. Right. Where it's supposed to be the music from Wu-Tang Clan, and I think it's going to be some characters in that game, but it's going to portray the the martial arts stuff that they used to really talk about in their raps, and what they
36 Chambers.
Yeah, so see, you already know about it. Let's go.
That was an awesome album, man.
Man,
I love that album.
Yes, so so they're gonna be busting all that stuff out, and I'm really excited to see what they have in store for a game like that, because the only thing I can think of whenever I think of Method Man and all those guys on the Wu-Tang Clan, the first thing I think of is Def Jam Vendetta. And Fight for New York and stuff like that. I'm wondering if it's gonna be something like that, but a lot of those characters were like overgrown and big, kind of like Gears characters. I bet this is going to be more like of a slick run around, kind of more of a fast paced kind of thing, like maybe a Sifu kind of game
Okay.
is what I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
this game possibly being.
Right.
So that's just my opinions, but that's what I'm really looking forward to. All right, now we've hit one of the last questions for gaming, and that is if you were to revive two IPs that are dead right now, what would be those two IPs that you would reinnovate and give that third party or that AAA quality to?
Oh, that's a good question. I think one of them would have to be uh
Snail.
no, I was gonna say Earthworm Jim though.
It's kind of close.
Because I was just thinking about it, what kind of game from the old school days that I really enjoyed, and I like platformers, right? So I was like, you know what, they could reinvigorate that. They could do more cartoons if they want to. Like it's something that I think a lot of people would relate to and enjoy. How they would go about it, if they kept it side scrolling or if they made it sort of more of an open world type of game, I'm not sure, but something like that, because that was
I
a pretty
think
cool
you'd have to
IP
go
back in the
Ratchet
day.
and Clank kind of game with something like that of
Yeah,
right now. Like make
yeah.
this
Well,
game like
Xbox needs something
insane.
like that.
Yeah, that'd be
They really
dope.
do.
That would be dope. An
Yeah,
Earthworm Jim game. Like I remember that game, like taking like he'd always do like that head slap.
yeah. Or
Like
the
that shit
helicopter
was,
with it. The
yeah, and he'd
helicopter.
fly. Yep. Yep. I remember that joint. That was a good time. That game was actually pretty tough.
Yeah, yeah. It was. But
It
that
really was.
animation that they had for it at the time, that aesthetic looked really cool.
Oh, it
And
did.
so if they could keep that and yeah, like put it into like like you said, a Ratchet and Clank style game, that would be pretty sick because it's got all those. It's got his wacky gun and all that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, so that'd be kind of cool. And a second IP for something that's sort of not around that much anymore. There's a lot, but I'm gonna have to probably say, I don't know what kind of reaction I'm gonna get out of this one.
Well, this is yours, so it don't matter.
Well, I really think they could probably do a Rise 2,
Oh, okay.
Rise Son
That's
of
not
Rome.
crazy. That's not insane.
Well, I kind of feel like people are kind of like, a lot of people want it, right? But it would have to break from that time button press rubbish that they had. That's the only thing that I played through the whole thing, enjoyed it. The story was really good, graphics awesome. Gameplay not so much for me because of the time button presses. That annoyed me a little bit. So if you eased it up off that and had it more well, should I say God of Warish, that would be an awesome IP to reinvigorate, rejuvenate. It doesn't have to be just in Rome. It can be anywhere. Like people have said before, don't restrict it to one time, and build from it because that game was pretty awesome.
That
And
game was
I like those
fantastic.
kind of games. I like those kind of games. So.
Yeah, of course, because you get to run in. You just run in there. Of course, you
Shield,
like that game.
stab.
Yep. Shield, stab, dead. Shield, stab, dead. Shield. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So then here's the last big question I got for you. And it's a two-parter. It's what frustrates you about gaming, if anything. And then this is anything that has to do with gaming. And
Yep.
then also what would be a dream come true.
All right, what frustrates me about gaming? Sony fanboys.
Oh my. I mean, if you're being honest, that's fine.
I'm always honest. Yeah, definitely. They irk me to no extent. But in all seriousness, like to go a little deeper though, is is Sony, the brand, the way they are, especially again going back to this ABK deal. I don't want to harp on that particular deal, but this is showing all of us what kind of company they're like. All right. We know all the muddy hatting that they've been doing over the years. We know that they forced themselves into gaming. And look, you got to do what you got to do, but then turn around and complain and bitch and whinge that a third placed company is going to have Call of Duty and all that. It irks me because they're just kind of like the bully, and when the kid that they're bullying slaps them back, they go running off and telling the teacher. You know what I mean? And that's what it feels like. Typical bully mentality. And I suppose that's why I like the underdog, because they don't fight like that. They're honest, they're more upstanding type of thing. So what really annoys me about gaming is probably the way Sony is acting and the way they're treating it is like it's our gaming space. You can't do that, and I don't like that. They're trying to.
You can't come in here and do what I did.
Yeah,
that's kind of what they're doing, because it's just like, wait a second, didn't you buy a bunch of things to get started? Like, wait a second, you guys have this in documentaries that you guys, pretty much just said, yo, we're gonna go to as many people as we can and just offer them a bag, and we'll see what we can get out of it. And they put a lot of companies in the dirt by doing that. I mean, you look at 3DOs in the dirt. Atari was trying to make their Jaguar comeback, put into the dirt. I mean, there was plenty of other companies. I mean, Sega, they kind of put themselves in the dirt a little bit, but I mean, I like to say Sony was like Scar versus Mufasa. Like, oh, I see you hanging there from this cliff. How about I go ahead and just push you off?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. That's exactly what it seems like, right?
It's exactly like that.
It's frustrating to me. It really is. But that's just, that's that. And then what was the second part of the question?
Dream come true. Yes, sir.
There's a very open part of the question, because that could mean anything.
It could mean anything.
I think for me in the gaming space, a dream come true would probably be, what would be awesome? Being a part of a video game.
Oh, shit. That would be nice.
That would be sick, man, right?
I'd love to watch everybody kill me. That'd be great.
Well, imagine being a character, like a decent character in a game where like you're immortalized in this game forever. And let's hope it's a good game. Obviously, it's not like Knack or something.
Oh God.
But you're immortalized and you've got lines and you're a playable character. That would be awesome. That would be a dream come true. Yeah.
Damn. That's a pretty big dream right there. I like that though. That's something
that'll never happen. But
I haven't heard. Hell, it can. It can happen depending on where you decide to step next.
Well, Alana Pierce does a voice in a video game. She's like one of the background characters. I can't remember which game that was now. She does a voice. Jay Fonz, he got some voiceover work in a game recently. I don't know what the game is or when that's coming out, but
I'm not sure if he's going to announce the game. Has he?
I don't think so. Not yet. But so it's possible. Not that's not a big leading role and playable character, but still that's a start, right?
Absolutely.
So it is possible. You never know. They might need some Australian accents out there. So
hey, they probably do. They need to get more of a worldwide reach on just anything in gaming. So, as much as games like to portray like Africa and stuff like this, you end up finding out that these places, like half the time they don't even have access to some of these games, but we're portraying them and playing them in America. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, Another panel member I have, the other person that runs this YouTube with me, Loke7, he dope dude. He lives in Mozambique, Africa. He has like, and this will make you smile because he's super mad at PlayStation right now. He's mega mad at PlayStation. And it's because he has to buy vouchers from South Africa to even purchase video games on his PlayStation. So he has to buy vouchers from another country to get. And sometimes with him trying to buy the vouchers, he does not have the best of luck. And just recently, he tried to buy some vouchers. His card got shut off, and then he tried to use his other card to buy a voucher from a different website. That one like either like scammed him or some sort of thing. And he is just irate right now. Like, because like he tried to buy this game 3 different ways, and each way he couldn't do it. And it's all because he cannot put his credit card details into his PlayStation because they don't accept his region.
That's ridiculous.
Now, imagine trying to give a company that begs that tells you have to pay for everything. Imagine that company saying, "We don't take your money, though."
Yeah,
like he was livid. He is livid, so, and he's like, "Dude, you guys are treating me like a 5th-class citizen right now. This is foul."
There's no stores around that he can buy the game physically.
No.
Yeah,
Cozy's in the chat. She says, "Oh no, Xbox," but whatever. But she knows. She's on the podcast every Friday too, and she heard Loke going through it, and yeah, Loke was very displeased about that. And then, as you say, FarQ, about codes and stuff like that, like some of that stuff is region locked. So he's already had an issue where somebody bought him a game and he couldn't download it because of the region that he's in. So, but the crazy thing is he can put all of his credit card details in the Xbox and no problem. But see, Xbox does business all around the world with Windows, stuff like that. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense. But, like everyone around the world knows PlayStation. How the hell do you have... How the hell are you able to purchase or find a PlayStation in that country, but you can't buy games for that same console? Like, that
makes no sense.
I'm at a loss for words for that. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Well, I because like I'm in Australia, Red's in New Zealand, right? So that's another country, even though we sound similar, right? And I got her the DLC for Forza Horizon 5.
Okay.
And I didn't think about it. I thought, oh, well, she's only the next country over. It's not like a big deal. So I bought it for her, sent it to her, and it was region locked. And I'm like, what the? All right. Well, then we had to work out ways around that, right? And I can't. She ended up getting it to work, and she was able to. But I think she had to change her region. Not only her console region to Australia, but then she had to change her payment region to Australia, her like payment details, and then it would work. Like, how crazy is that?
And that was on her Xbox, right?
That was on her Xbox.
That's
you should
insane.
be able to game gift to anyone anywhere in the world. If I'm spending the money with my credit card, I should be able to buy you a game in the US. It shouldn't matter. Just do the conversion through the internet. Whatever.
Yeah, even if you want to throw a couple extra bucks for a tax or something like that, like shipping and handling kind of like bullshit tax or whatnot. Yeah. Like, as long as it's reasonable, like I'll still do it. I'll still like get that person that game if I really want them to play it. Like if the game's originally $70 and you're telling me, yo, you got to pay $85 because it's overseas, fuck it. Like if I really want to get them that game, I will get them that game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it sucks. It's an extra $15, but like I still have the option better than no option or making me go through this, that, and a third just to do it. I'd rather you save me the time, and sure, it costs a couple extra bucks and I can actually just do it.
Yep. So I don't really, I mean, there must be a reason behind it, but as the way I see it is I'm a consumer. I'm still paying, in this case, Microsoft, Xbox, the money, and then it's sending the code to someone else. It should just work in this day and age. So I
Well,
don't know.
we know we know out east, in some of those far east countries, Callisto Protocol is getting region locked completely.
Oh no.
Well, do you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
So I think it's like Japan or a country out over there where I think it is Japan that is saying that they are not taking the game at all, like Callisto Protocol, because it's too gory.
It sounds like something, yeah.
But
It
that's
probably is
weird.
Japan.
But it's weird to me because they have some of the cringiest, awkward type of stories in games where it's just like, wait, you guys are hitting at like really touchy subjects. And you guys are not only hinting at it, but you're doing it in the game. Like for instance, in Persona, I can date my teacher in that game. Right? That
Yeah.
game that's wild, but yet Callisto Protocol, something totally fiction. You
Yeah.
can't kill a scary monster or because the way that you get killed is too gory. That's just BS.
Well, yeah, but that shows you where the moral standards are. It differs between each country. And theirs is more on I think more on that sort of sexualized side. Whereas America's more
the
on
freaky
the
and
violent
disgusting.
side. Yeah.
They like freaky and disgusting and we like killing. Like it's just like weird.
It's just we're in between. Nah.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, I guess so. But anyways, we've reached the end of the show. I appreciate everybody that stuck around. It's been over 2.5 hours. I didn't plan for it to be this long, but I never do ever plan for it to be this long. It just happens when you're just chilling and having a good conversation. So thank you so much for everybody for coming out. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. Share this out, subscribe if you really enjoyed the show and you want to come back and see me interview plenty of other different people, because I'll be definitely talking to a lot of different people in the in the coming weeks and whatnot. I am taking a break this Thursday and possibly this Tuesday. I'm not sure if I'm taking the break this Tuesday or not, but for sure this Thursday because of Thanksgiving out here in America. That's what we're doing. And then there's Black Friday the day after. So I mean, I got to get my gaming fix somewhere. It'll probably be at the store, purchasing a couple of games for the low. But anyways, I appreciate everybody for coming through. Ashtrey, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on. And I
Thanks
know
for having
it's I know it's a little bit more convenient for you at this time, but I still do appreciate you setting aside some sort of time to be able to come on here, conversate with me, kick it, talk about games and whatnot. If you could, for me, just one last time, just let everybody know where they can find you, where they can reach out to you, or possibly game with you.
Yeah, man. So every platform. So you've got PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Twitter, Mastodon, which is a new one, YouTube, and Hive, all Ashtrey Gaming, and it's TREY. I like to keep everything the same. And the fact that it's spelt with an E is a little bit different, which is good. So it's Ashtrey Gaming, and you'll know it's me because of my avatar. It's all the same. I make sure it's all the same everywhere. Even my PlayStation account's my Xbox avatar.
Oh my God. This man. He's a demon.
But thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. But I'm glad that my responses, my answers, my history threw you a bit, because I am a little bit different, and I'm glad that it wasn't run of the mill responses that you were getting, that you've heard from people before, and it's sort of the same kind of story. It's different, and it sort of threw you put you in a spin there for a couple of
A little
times. And I'm
bit,
glad
yeah.
I did that actually. So
I'll never
but
forget that Nintendo shit. That's insane.
but it's not like I never played them though. So it's just that I didn't own them. But yeah, I had fun. This was really good. Great time after work, and now it's I haven't even had dinner yet, and it's 8 p.m. So I'll have to go eat something before bed. But I appreciate having me on, guys. Awesome in the chat. And like and subscribe to Ham's channel. Like and subscribe to my channel if you like. Share it out. And appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, again for stopping through. Y'all have a good holiday. And yeah, remember to come back for some more of these wild episodes behind them sticks and also bull sitting on this channel. Make sure you hit up Ashtrey Gaming on his channel, and then also go to Elite Guru Gaming for the Gamer Initiative podcast every Friday as well. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody for coming through. Y'all have a blessed rest of your day and a good week. And as I always say before leaving the podcast, y'all make sure to keep it gaming, keep it moving. Peace out, y'all. Oh, wait, hold the phone. I forgot to ask you the question I asked everybody upon exiting, which is I want you to tell me gaming for you in just 3 words. Like, describe gaming in just 3 words.
In just 3 words. Okay. Fun. Lots. Adventure.
So say that all together.
Well, I didn't put it in any particular order, but fun, lots, and adventure. So I like to play for fun. I like to play a lot, and I like adventure games.
There we go. All right. Y'all take it easy. Peace out.
To the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray. That's your name. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me